presentation of Fox Sports.
We are the Fourth. We are the West.
Beltre swinging a high drive, well hit. That ball is history.
He is the captain, the consummate professional who sets an example for others to follow. The unquestioned voice in the clubhouse, responsible for offering wise counsel, doling out tough love, and providing comfort in times of need. He is the entertainer, playing with an endless love for the game, never taking himself too seriously, dodging contact with his head, unable to control his legs, always ready to clown around with teammates or engage in friendly conversation with rivals. He is a legend, universally respected around the major leagues. A jaw-dropping defender at the hot corner.
Beltre to the bare hand, the off-balance throw, and it's patented.
Kneeling to crush 400-foot homers. In pursuit of 3,000 career hits and 500 home runs. Steadily slugging his way toward Cooperstown. The captain of the Rangers. The entertainer of the fans. A legend of the game. Adrian Beltre personifies all that is great about our national pastime.
And you know that Adrian Beltre will be in the middle of things once again tonight. The Rangers and the Indians. Game 3 of our 4-game series at Progressive Field here in Cleveland. Welcome in, everybody. Great to be with you. I'm Dave Raymond with CJ Nikowski. That's a lot of fun to watch. It's exciting thinking about Adrian Beltre every day. We get a chance to see him. Now, he's been in the middle of things lately. The other thing that's been happening lately is this team has been hitting collectively a lot of home runs.
And it's been great to see because we know the Rangers were going to show a lot of power this year. Look up and down the lineup, but what has happened recently, the home run rate per game has really jumped, especially over these last 6 games. It's been guys like Robinson Chirinos with 3 home runs during that time. Carlos Gomez, and the fun one, of course, Drew Robinson hitting his first big league home run. 7 players overall with 10+ home runs. That is the most in Major League Baseball. So power all around right now for the Texas Rangers.
All right, well then specifically, what about Adrian Beltre?
He's been swinging the bat unbelievably well, and over that same time, he has 3 home runs of his own, 3 doubles as well, slugging the baseball well. This is, of course, in New York when he hit that big 2-run home run. Then on Monday, comes up big here in Cleveland with another first-inning home run, 3-run shot that was, and he has just been slugging the baseball, crushing it. And then the biggest one of the group, the 9th inning last night, the deciding home run in a tight 2-1 game. It's a very good pitcher in Cody Allen. Adrian Beltre has been providing great drama and great power.
All right, Beltre, of course, last night, the game winner, number 450 in his career, 39th on the all-time list. And when you talk about significant home runs late in the game, yeah, he's done that more than once in his time. All right, so we love watching Adrian Beltre. The other guy who's been electric lately, Yu Darvish. Breaking stuff has been something to die for. We'll put that and Yu Darvish in the spotlight when we come back.
The beautiful shot of downtown Cleveland as we're just a few minutes away from first pitch here with the Rangers taking on those Cleveland Indians. And I want to take a look at Yu Darvish and some trends that we're seeing from him. We know about the great slider and the great fastball, but how about the curveball? And you guys have seen this slow curveball before, but the usage of that curveball is suddenly going up. And this is against the Seattle Mariners. You see Robinson Cano going down. There is Nelson Cruz chasing that slow curveball in the dirt. And then Friday against the New York Yankees, Yu Darvish broke out that curveball even more. 15% of the time he got Aaron Judge right there. And then you see Matt Holliday doing the same thing. And so the curveball all of a sudden now has been very good for Yu Darvish, a pitch that he doesn't use that much, only about 6% of the time, but lately that usage is going up. And that now let's go down to Emily for our Shiner Light Bond Spotlight.
Yes, CJ, and our Shiner Light Blonde Spotlight shines the spotlight on something you've talked about before, and that's the pace of Yu Darvish. We all know that he takes a significant amount of time between pitches. However, in the last couple of starts, he's made it a concerted effort to be more consistent in his pace. So not necessarily faster, but as a result, you see the numbers go down over his last 3 starts, and that's by design. Like I said, it doesn't matter the time necessarily, but the consistency of it. So it would only stand to reason that that number would come down because he is being more consistent with those times in between pitches. You saw how effective he was in his last start against the Yankees. He saw how effective he was against the Yankees. He realizes that pace is an important thing and something that he's working on, and he's seeing the results thus far. So Yu Darvish goes once again tonight for these Rangers. Game 3 of a 4-game series here in Cleveland. The Rangers offense looking to stay hot as they have been of late. We'll have the first pitch coming up from Progressive Field right after this.
You're watching Rangers baseball presented by AT&T. Those crowds really moving as we welcome you in to Cleveland, Ohio, home of the Cleveland Indians. We're just about set to go. 3rd game in our 4-game series. And let's take a look at our Southwest starting lineup. The Texas Rangers 39 wins, 38 losses to Shields. Leading it off again today, Chu batting second. You see Lucroy catching. Robinson Chirinos, the DH today, bats 8th. And then Joey Gallo at the bottom of the order. A lot of pop at the bottom of that order for the Rangers. That's been a big part of the story lately for this team, as Trevor Bauer gets strike one in there to start our game tonight. Delino with the .351 on base percentage. He's been doing a great job in that leadoff spot.
We'll take a look at the Trevor Bauer arsenal here real quick. 55% fastballs, and it is a good one that averages 96 miles an hour. Take a look at the rest of it here. The curveball, 28%. He's got a really good curveball register. There's a lot of strikeouts on that pitch at 241 batting average against. He'll throw changeup and a cutter as well.
Shields fouls this one off to even the count now at 2 balls and 2 strikes. So Delino with the top spot, then Shin-Soo Choo. 2 guys who over the course of this season have done a terrific job splitting the duties up top. And that one just off the plate. Look at some of these numbers for leadoff hitters in Major League Baseball. Choo at .443 with the on-base average. Delino .371. So 2 of the top 5 when leading off. And DeShields goes down looking to start our game tonight.
And Delino, we don't see very much expression from him. He seems very frustrated at this call, and this was a fastball that was attempted to go down in a way and ended up finishing up, and it might have caught that up and in corner, but Delino certainly didn't think so.
Well, a strikeout to get us started tonight. Trevor Bauer making his 16th start. 6 wins, 6 losses, and dumps one in there to Choo. The on-base average for Choo has dipped to .377 lately, and a curveball very well placed. 0-2. Choo has struck out 3 times in each of the last 2 games. Only the 4th time that has happened in his career. Well, in a rare mini slump, I guess, for Choo. He's never done it in 3 straight games in his career. Bauer, though, has employed the strikeout quite a bit more often this year than he has in the past. They want it up. Choo goes up there for it, bounces it down to Santana at first, and there are 2 away.
Let's take a look at the Cleveland Indians defense and what will be playing behind Trevor Bauer today. Michael Brantley, see Zimmer and Chisenhall out in the outfield. Jose Ramirez, Francisco Lindor, Jason Kipnis, Carlos Santana, Roberto Perez behind the plate tonight. Now it's the 2nd time he's caught here within the first 3 games, and some good news there to see the manager Terry Francona back out there. He missed yesterday's game, left the first game after I guess about the 2nd inning or so. Wasn't feeling well. Brad Mills to his right, the bench coach, had taken over, but good to see one of the good guys in the game, Terry Francona. Oh. Back out there. Sorry, that ball was coming right at us.
Yes, it was.
About, what do you think, 2 feet below?
My eyes were closed.
I got a little nervous.
Just a little below us. And this one fouled back to the screen as well. The count 0-2.
I don't need my coffee anymore. My heart rate is up.
Yeah, that was right at us. Those are always, those are the toughest play for a broadcaster. The ones coming right at you.
They're the toughest to read. When you talk about Trevor Bauer and his strikeout prowess this year, 10.3 per 9. Coming into this season, his career rate was 8.3. So he's improved by 2 strikeouts for every 9 innings. And I've asked some people around the Indians trying to figure out what's going on, what's different. So the velocity's been up a little bit, but they really feel like the curveball has been improved. And the one thing about Trevor Bauer throughout his short career so far is that he has always had a very live arm. It's a little bit of a different bird, the way that he attacks hitters and his pitching plan, and there's been some inconsistencies from him over the course of his career, but it looks like he's starting to harness some of that live stuff a little bit more.
Andrus working him out a little bit here, fouling off yet another pitch. That one at 97 miles per hour, so good velocity for Bauer tonight. Elvis went without a hit yesterday, and that one of the great rarities in the game when Elvis doesn't get a hit in this ballpark. That one bounced up to the plate, 2-2. It was just the second time in Elvis's career that he has played a game in this ballpark and left without a base hit. And that is in what, 33 games. Two, and he hits this one in the air, center field. Zimmer, a couple of steps to his left, and it's a 1-2-3, top of the first for Trevor Bauer. And now here come the Cleveland Indians. Tonight and ready to get after these Cleveland Indians. Let's take a look at the Indians lineup. 40 wins, 36 losses. Kipnis, Lindor, and Brantley up top. Jose Ramirez has had an enormous month of June. Chisenhall, Santana, Zimmer, and Roberto Perez.
And they'll be going up against Yu Darvish, and let's take a look at the very deep and strong arsenal of Yu Darvish. The fastball 52% of the time, 96 miles an hour. It's that great slider we talk about so often with Yu Darvish. It's been a tremendous pitch for him, just a 148 batting average against. But as we talked about before the game started, that curveball just 6% on the year, but there has been a heavier usage of that as of late. And why not? 0.59 batting average against when he throws that curveball.
So he's set to go. Kipnis steps in. And Darvish uncoils. Heat a little below the zone for ball one, and already we're appealing. Jerry Davis down at third. Waves Kipnis safe. Kipnis just a 233 average. The number to the far right there, 287 on base percentage. Very low for a leadoff man. Kipnis scuffling a bit in that regard this year, but 8 home runs, 13 doubles for him. So he does have some pop. And he's ahead 3-0. Darvish aiming for that same spot with each pitch. Hitting that same spot each time, but has not yet convinced Tony Randazzo that it's a strike. That one is, and it's 3-1.
Amazing. We've talked about it a lot already with Yu Darvish. That first batter, the weirdness of the struggles that he has had. The on base percentage being unbelievably high. First batter reaching of the game, and doesn't necessarily tell any story after that. He's dominated. It's just been kind of one of those strange things.
Curveball, and this one lifted out to left field. Back on it, Mazzara, and he misplays it, and it bounces away from him, and Kipnis will be at second base. Well, that just locked Mazzara up out there.
And he did, and this ball was not necessarily hit very hard off the bat of Jason Kipnis. Hit decent, but it was a breaking ball over the plate, and it looked like, as we watch this here, that Nomar Mazzara had a beat on. You're going to watch him going to his left. Looks like he's got it, and then whoop, just kind of turned on him a little bit. And you know, Nomar Mazzara has been playing more left field obviously this year, as much as Chu now has been out right, but he has naturally a right fielder. That's where he's gotten most of his time, and they are two completely different positions in the way that the baseball comes off the bat. For whatever the reason there, he just struggled reading that spin, and it goes down as an E7.
So now the pitch to Lindor, and that one, well, that's called a ball right on the very bottom of the zone. Lindor, 250 average. A lot of extra base hits for him. 21 doubles to go with the 14 homers. And it looks like the low strike not going to be in fashion tonight for Randazzo.
So for you, Darvish, for Jonathan Lucroy, that means it becomes about making an adjustment.
There's that breaking ball again, and this one into right field for a base hit. Kipnis around third base. No throw offered. Back to the middle of the infield. Lindor with an RBI single. Cleveland leads 1-0.
Well, you mentioned it. So far, the two balls that have been in play, put in play, have been on breaking balls, and this was another one here to Lindor, and you see the reaction from Jonathan Lucroy, who wanted that ball a little bit further down, and maybe just frustrated with the decision that they made. Lindor does a nice job of lining that ball into right field, and just like that, the Indians are up 1-0.
So now Michael Brantley. Well, that's a frustrating start for Darvish. The error obviously comes back in a very big way, an unearned run. Lindor at first, the pitch to Brantley, and there's a strike. So the corners might be where a guy can make a little hay, as we can continue to gauge a little bit what we will see from our plate umpire, Tony Randazzo, tonight. Bouncer, second base. Odor backs up. They'll get the out at second. The relay to first, not in time. And the chance for the double play eliminated when Odor backed up to take that second hop.
Yeah, you get caught in between on these, and you want to make sure that you're always getting at least one out. And so Rougned Odor decided to play it back on the hop. Made a good throw to Elvis Andrus, but this is also a really tough turn. Now, if you get aggressive and come after that ball a little bit more, it might be a tougher hop and a little bit harder to handle. And so Rougned plays it back, turns, makes a perfect throw, and that's just one of those turns on Elvis's end that just, it takes a while because you have to go completely change direction. He did everything he could, but Michael Brantley, coming out of that left-hander batter's box, was able to get down the line in time.
So now Edwin Encarnacion, dangerous cleanup man, the DH tonight for the Indians. And he has been a patient hitter. He's also managed 17 home runs already in this first half. I say already because he got off to a very slow start, but has turned it around quite nicely. This in his first year with the Indians. Fouls this one off with the count 0-2.
Take a look at what he has done lately. You see the 7 home runs, .317 batting average. I think perfectly reasonable for Edwin Encarnacion. It does happen. This guy's been a great player for the Toronto Blue Jays for a long time. Comes over to Cleveland, signs that big deal. A bit of a slow start. We see that story pretty often.
Hits this ball hard out to left field. That one's going to get in and all the way to the wall. Brantley can run a little bit, but they will stop him at third on the Encarnacion double.
Another breaking ball here that is put into play, and this is the slider. It just kind of stays over the middle of the plate, and Edwin takes a big swing. Hits that ball hard. Now, of course, when Yu Darvish is ahead in the count like that, we anticipate that slider being off, either down or away, not for a strike. So he was unable to put the slider where he wanted to in that 0-2 count against Encarnacion.
Now Jose Ramirez, Indians' third baseman, and if Encarnacion was putting up good numbers in June, then look out for this guy. Fourth in the American League, hitting .323. That hardly begins to tell the story. Bouncer back to the mound. Darvish has his man hung up. Brantley in a rundown. Lucroy heading him back to third. It's going to be up to Darvish to make the play at the plate. He does. And there are 2 away.
And that was almost a very big mistake by Jonathan Lucroy because he can see the runners in front of him. And so once Edwin Encarnacion, watch this play here. Good job by you, Darvish. You see Michael Brantley caught in between. But look at Encarnacion. As soon as he's there at third, you do not throw that baseball. You run it all the way back because obviously something can happen. It's going to take 2 more throws to get him. First, you got to have a catch and then a throw. And then, of course, you got your pitcher who's putting the tag on. So once there's a runner at third like that, Jonathan Lucroy is actually supposed to run Michael Brantley all the way back to the back.
First pitch swinging. Chisenhall comes up empty with strike 1. So that put out goes 1 to 5 to 2 to 5 to 1. It's a palindrome. But it also allowed Ramirez to get to second base. Encarnacion 90 feet away now. Count 0-2 on Chisenhall. Chisenhall comes in with a .312 average. And he goes down swinging. First strikeout of the game for you, Darvish. And it puts an end to a bumpy first. We go to the second inning. Indians with the early lead. Energy power player to watch. Adrian Beltre leading off in this second inning. And he has really swung the bat well here at Progressive Field. 9 multi-hit games in his last 17 here. Those 5 home runs. Big one last night came in the 9th inning in a 1-1 game, helping the Rangers to a 2-1 victory last night, and evening this series at a win apiece. So he'll stand in against Trevor Bauer, who was perfect in the first inning, and gets ahead of Beltre with strike 1. Adrian hitting .303. And swinging it well in this series. 4 hits in the first 2 games. It's 1-1. Bauer not wasting any time, and this one back up the middle looked like it might have clipped Bauer. Karam towards short. Play made by Lindor. 1 out in the second inning. It goes 1 to 6-3.
And this ball did catch Trevor Bauer. He'll try to react, but pretty much have no chance as that right leg went up in the air. Adrian Beltre also falling down on his swing. We see it. And listen, you're going to kick the ball somewhere. Make sure you kick it to one of your position players. Always going to make things a little bit easier.
Yeah, one of the best shortstops in the game.
So that was easier to write than the last one, right? 163. Did you actually get that entire last play or the longer play with Ramirez into your scorebook?
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I write very small.
I threw in the towel. I just wrote 1-5. I wrote fielder's choice 1-5. I know what happened.
You got to maybe put like an asterisk or something next to it, and then put a note down at the bottom of your book. Something. Here's Mazzara.
What book?
And he falls behind 0-2. Omar batting 5th tonight, as he did yesterday. He walked yesterday, struck out 3 times in the 5-hole. Been batting 3rd more commonly this year. But the Rangers continuing to experiment a little bit, tweak things just a touch. Part of it really is about a guy batting 7th today, Rougned Odor.
How far in front of the plate this ball bounced? It's the second time. I mean, by the time it bounced, it was almost a strike.
Another one in the dirt, 2-2. Yeah, the one earlier, was that the 2 maybe? Was almost bounced before the dirt around home plate.
It's not easy to do.
Mazzara bounces one right side. Kipnis takes care of it, and there are 2 gone. So Bauer has retired the first 5 he has faced. And now he will deal with Jonathan Lucroy. Bauer, you mentioned it earlier, he's a different cat. Got his own thing going. Some of the pregame rituals for him are unusual. The javelin. And then the long toss.
With the headphones.
Yeah, the headphones. He does not want to hear it. And then my favorite is his first warm-up toss of the inning. Here we go.
You know who doesn't love this?
No.
Oh, is he not doing the crow hop anymore?
No, watch. Here we go.
Okay, here it is.
So he starts at the back of the mound. And then when everybody's in position, gets a running start.
Roberto Perez loves that, I'm sure. Here, get a full look at this right here. This is the only guy in baseball that does this right here. Roberto's like, fine, knock yourself out. Everything you got. All right, now can we get to work now, please?
Can we do the regular thing?
That every other major league pitcher does. Listen, he is a strange guy. He's got a very, he's not just making stuff up. This guy knows pitching mechanics as good as anybody. He gets into the training to a degree that most people can't understand. Talks on a different level. He's very intelligent. He really should be left-handed.
2-2, or rather 1-2 pitch. That just misses. Yeah, excuse me.
We play 3 in this league. I'll tell you what, though, he's got a pretty good argument on this fastball way. Let's see the glove. I mean,
check, please.
He didn't even look like that was a no doubter. It's a good way to take an umpire off, though. But listen, it's been obvious. I think that was a strike. But anything close on the bottom right now, Tony Randazzo is not calling.
2-2. And Lucroy stays alive.
When before Bauer got drafted, coming out of UCLA, he had said, very unique program. I want to stay in this program. If you're thinking about drafting me and changing me and wanting me to kind of conform to your standards, don't draft me. He was very honest about it. The Diamondbacks took him. The Diamondbacks didn't love it anyway. And they shipped him off here to Cleveland.
Lucroy keeps it at 2-2.
I think we are in a generation now, though, where organizations are much more open-minded to the training that players are doing outside of the normal places they're going to. The Seattle Mariners created a position where they actually have a guy who's basically like a quality assurance position and goes around and checks the places where their players train in the offseason.
Well, a strikeout for Bauer, his 2nd of the night, and that indeed will end the 2nd inning for him. We've played 1.5.
A quick 1-0 lead. Let's take a look at the Rangers defense, which is delivered to you by New Braunfels Convention and Visitors Bureau. Nomar Mazara in left, Delano DeShields and Shu in right, Beltre, Andrus, Odor, Gallo in the infield. And that is incorrect. Robinson Chirinos is not behind the plate. He is DHing tonight. Jonathan Lucroy is catching. +1 for CJ. Paying attention. Not too often.
You can read and observe at the same time. It's awesome.
Momentous day here, really. I mean, I said New Braunfels right for the first time ever, I think.
And then butchered it that time.
I don't know what's wrong. I said New Braunfels.
New Braunfels?
New Braunfels. Darn it. I don't know what, there's certain things that your brain just can't get going.
Right. Have a lot of those.
That's one for me.
Carlos Santana.
My apologies to everyone at NB. Just nickname it, acronym it.
There you go. That could work. Popped up. Right side of the infield. Odor takes charge, and that is out number 1. How about you, Darvish, in that first inning, by the way? He gave up a double, a single, a 2-base error, and somehow got out giving up just 1 run.
He did a nice job, and it was because of a base running mistake. Not, mistake, obviously, we saw with Michael Brantley. Also the fact that he couldn't score on the base hit, which is probably unrealistic from Encarnacion. That didn't happen on that double. I mean, it's a shorter wall here in left field, no more plays. Pretty good left field. We boxed that one in the first inning, but he's got a good arm as well, very accurate arm, so he decided not to be too aggressive. That was part of it. And then Darvish getting the big strikeout of Lonnie Chisenhall to finish things up.
1 gone here in the second inning for Bradley Zimmer. And it is 1-1. Zimmer yesterday 0 for 3. He, like many of the Indians, had a real good night Monday night. That was part of a 15-run, 19-hit attack for the Indians. And a couple of hits in that one.
He's down on the field today. You watch guys, I didn't realize how big he was. He's 6'5". It's a big dude. And we showed, of course, the other day the fastest runners in Major League Baseball, and he was what, 2nd or 3rd?
Yeah, 3rd.
And you don't expect a guy that is 6'5". He could be fast, but not one of the fastest in Major League Baseball. It's pretty unbelievable.
The 1-2 from Darvish. That'll even it up. Yeah, just 24 years old, and a great start in his rookie season. He's done a nice job. Highly thought of prospect. Was, according to a number of folks who track those sorts of things, the top prospect in the Indians organization, is not disappointed.
You saw that bio there. He went to the University of San Francisco, was actually born and raised in La Jolla. Stay hot, beautiful area of the country. First round pick, 21st overall by the Cleveland Indians back in 2014.
Well, I was talking to their bench coach, Brad Mills, about him today during batting practice. And he said, yeah, we were admiring his swing and his power. And he said, yeah, but he's so much more important for us in center field. He does such a great job in center field. Great routes, the speed you just talked about. And they feel like, Naquin did a nice job for them last year. Yep. Tyler Naquin really filled in well for them. But they feel like they've defensively really improved this year in large part because of Zimmer in center.
Well, remember, Tyler Naquin had to be taken out for defense in the postseason. He looked very uncomfortable and very shaky. And he did a very nice job for them. He was a rookie too, and it looked like this was the guy that was emerging on the scene last year. Then the defense struggled at the end in center field, extremely important, but also he showed a big hole up in the zone where you could throw him fastballs 92, 93 miles an hour and higher, and he could not get to them. So he really struggled offensively as well in the second half. But there, I don't know if you remember this last year, he had a big inside the park home run.
Oh yeah,
to win a game. There's a big mural downstairs in the hallway of their clubhouse that's painted now, and he's not even here this year. It's amazing. As a rookie, he had a huge year, big year, and you look at Bradley Zimmer and you're like, yeah, this guy's probably better. It's really unbelievable to think.
Ninth pitch of this at bat. And Zimmer has done an excellent job here battling with Darvish. Obviously, first time he's ever seen you, Darvish. Zimmer was not with the Indians when they opened the season in Arlington. Darvish, the opening day starter, pitched well in that game against Cleveland, but not well enough. 2-2. And that is strike 3 call. Second strikeout tonight for Darvish.
And you see the reaction from Zimmer. You and I have been talking about the bottom of the strike zone and how we have not seen those pitches called strikes. And here is Zimmer working his tail off in this at bat, and then that one is called a strike. Now that is a nasty, nasty two-seam fastball. Look at this thing dart at the end. And that's a good job by Jonathan Lucroy, just trying to keep that thing in the strike zone. But it probably finished just out. I think the late movement is probably what got Tony Randazzo, and certainly Zimmer was not happy with that call.
So 2 gone now for Roberto Perez, 9th place hitter, and a breaking ball misses a little in. Darvish, I should qualify, I guess, what I was saying about opening night for him. He pitched very well in that game. When I say didn't pitch well enough, the reality is that game ended up slipping away late. Sam Dyson had given up 3 runs in the late innings, and Cleveland came back to win that game as a bouncer third base. Handled nicely by Beltre, and it's a 1-2-3 for you, Darvish. We've played 2. Indians lead 1-0.
One to nothing. I got some good news because I know you love fireworks, and you can get a jump start on your Independence Day celebrations this year and head out to the ballpark. That's going to be on Monday, July 3rd for a spectacular post-game fireworks show. It's going to be the Rangers, the Red Sox, 7:05. Tickets are available at TexasRangers.com. That means you can get back-to-back fireworks.
Yes, sir.
3rd, and then, of course, on the 4th of July, we'll be doing that as well, lighting up the night sky of Arlington, Texas.
Well, here we go to the 3rd inning, and it's the bottom 3rd of the order for the Rangers. Odor, Chirinos, and Gallo against Trevor Bauer. Right-hander's 1-0 pitch. And that'll even it on Odor. 205 average for Rougned. On base percentage 244. Hammers it on the ground, right side of the infield. Lindor is there. And that is a 6-3 putout. On the way.
Ranger fans, make sure you come out for an autograph session with Robinson Chirinos. That's going to be on Wednesday, July 5th at 10:30 a.m. 125 Sycamore School Road in Fort Worth. while there, sign up to be a Whataburger What a Fan, and you could win tickets to a Rangers game and Whataburger for a year. Visit TexasRangers.com/appearances to get more information. I'm assuming the Whataburger for a year also comes with the fries.
I gotta believe so.
Got some pretty good seasoned fries over there. I used to live across the street when I used to live in Houston.
Oh boy,
from a Whataburger.
How'd that work out?
Not too bad for me as far as my taste buds went. That was while I was still playing, so I had to show some resistance and not overdo it.
You no longer have that anchor, right? You could go and you don't have to perform.
It's really a lot different how you approach your exercise situation when it's not your job to be in shape anymore.
Right.
You're like, you can roll into the booth today. Doesn't matter.
Literally.
Yeah. They got an elevator. I don't have to get anybody out.
Chirinos does not live with that luxury, and he has kept himself in shape, and he has been unbelievable lately. Homering every time he's in the lineup, or so it seems. 247 average, 11 long balls. Takes a strike. It's 2-2. Chirinos homered again yesterday. That was in the 5th inning off of Mike Clevenger, and that tied the game. Rangers were trailing 1-0 at the time. Little tapper out in front of the mound will make Bauer field his position, and there are 2 away. All right, time for a Chevy game break. Let's check in with Dana Larson.
Batting ninth for the Rangers, number 13, first baseman Joey Gallo.
Okay, thanks, Dana. That might have been one of those reverse lock situations. The Phillies, of course, I kind of think that every night with the Phillies. We've had a tough year of it. 25-51 coming in. Here's Gallo. Gallo batting 9th. Bauer tries to move him off the plate just a little bit. Joey homered in Monday night's game. Also walked a couple of times in that one. Another walk yesterday. Whoop, that one up and away.
You'll get that once in a while from Trevor Bauer. He's got the live arm, but it's got some kind of funky mechanics, and you'll see that breaking ball pop out. You know, he works so quickly. Does a good job. He has a good pace. 22.7. That's below the league average, and that's a good thing. You want to be slower than the league average, which is 24. But the mechanics can get a little bit quick sometimes, and you'll see some breaking balls pop out like that one did 2 pitches ago.
Well, he set down the first 8 he has faced, and his 3-0. That one misses badly, and Gallo will take the walk. I didn't see too many that were even close as we take a look at our showstopper. Now, this was last night on the south side of Chicago. Yankees were leading by a 1 in the bottom of the 9th. Bases loaded, and Jose Abreu. That would get to home. White Sox with a victory over the Yankees. Now, we just came from New York. We're going to Chicago next. How about New York, though? Last 14 games, 2nd highest bullpen ERA in the American League, and they're just not scoring.
You don't see that too often against Dylan Betances, who's one of the best in the game. One of the most dominant relievers in either league. And we saw their bullpen struggle a little bit. Tyler Clippard really struggled, but he actually pitched last night, pitched a little bit better. A lot of injuries as well there in New York, but yes, it'll be interesting to get to Chicago. A lot of trades this offseason, and many people expecting a few more to come.
DeShields with a bouncer, shortstop. Lindor underhands to second, and it ends the inning. So the Rangers base runner did not last long. We go to the bottom of the 3rd, 1-0. the power stats. Yu Darvish. Last 5 starts, a 6.2 strikeout to walk ratio. That is a vast improvement on the first 11 starts of the year for him. Dramatic.
It's been incredible, and it has a lot to do with the fastball and slider command. Check him out here, moving some fielders around, having an idea where he wants his guys. But yes, he has been very good as of late. We know what a great strikeout pitcher he has been over the course of his career, but when that fastball command starts to get away from you, Darvish, that's when he starts to struggle a little bit. He certainly has gotten things turned around lately. And I say struggle, I mean, he's having a great year. Probably should be an all-star, but what he has done over those last 5 has been really good.
1-1 to Kipnis, who started the game by reaching on an error. Fly ball to left field. It looked like it would be the first out of the inning, and then would come around to score later in the inning. It's the only run we've had in this ball game, and the breaking ball a little high. 2-1. You say should be an all-star. I gotta believe he's gonna be an all-star, no?
Yes, I mean, I would think so. Where he ranks. I mean, the record is not there, but the record we know to look further than that. 65 coming into this one with a very good ERA, but just his rankings in the American League. One of those, which has been unbelievable this year to see from Darvish. He is 3rd in batting average against in all of Major League Baseball. 2nd in the American League. Just a 199 batting average against this year.
He walks Kipnis, and that might be the one number and ranking that still bugs him, is that he is among the top 5 in the league in walks allowed.
Fans, how about taking a trip to Margaritaville on Friday, July 7th, when the Rangers host the Angels? Pre-game tailgate party with live music and cold drinks, and margarita-inspired Rangers t-shirt. Post-game fireworks will be set to Jimmy Buffett's music, and tickets are available at texasrangers.com/theme nights. That's a good week, good homestand from July 3rd to July 7th. They got fireworks on the 3rd and the 4th. Texas Chili Company $1 hot dog night on the 5th. And then Margaritaville night. That one on the 8th. We got turn back the clock night. Powder blue jerseys.
Which you're going to pick up an extra for somebody.
You are not going to be there for any of this.
This one hit out to the power alley right field. The Shields cuts it off, spins, throws it back quickly, and the Indians will have runners on the corners on Lindor's base hit, his 2nd of the night.
Francisco Lindor is taking some pretty comfortable swings here against Yu Darvish, and there wasn't much of any history between these two at all. You see Jonathan Lucroy calling for that fastball in, leaked out over the plate a little bit, but not much. And Lindor came into this series really struggling. In his last 25, he was hitting under 200, but he has been good so far here tonight. Had a couple of base hits and a walk in last night's game. First game.
So Darvish dealing with some more traffic in this 3rd inning. Kipnis at 3rd, Lindor at 1st. In the heart of the order, 3rd place hitter Michael Brantley up at the plate. Another check in on Lindor. Darvish clearly wanted to keep the Indians shortstop close to first base, maybe in hopes of getting a ground ball from Brantley like he did in the 1st inning.
Lindor 3 for 4 on a stolen base attempt so far this season, but pretty good athlete. You're right, the idea of staying out of the double play, although with the lefty Brantley a little bit harder. Remember, he hit that hard ground ball to Ruben and Odor back in the 1st inning. They were unable to turn that double play.
Darvish, it's interesting, 9 double plays that he has induced this year. This now is 17th start. That one finds a corner, 1-1. When you consider, all right, 9 ground ball double plays, you know, that's a good number. Among the better numbers in the league. but in his previous 32 starts, he had managed just 10 ground ball double plays. So he's done a much better job this year of getting that opposing hitter to beat it into the ground in the 1-1. There's a bouncer up the middle, though, and that one is through. So Brantley brings Kipnis to the plate. Lindor rotates all the way to the other side of the diamond. He's at third, and it's 2-0 Indians.
Michael Brantley is a very good hitter, and seems like he's seen the ball pretty well tonight. He had a hard ground ball earlier, and this is another pitch that Jonathan Lucroy wanted into the lefty that caught more of the plate than they had hoped. And Brantley does a very nice job keeping the ball up the middle, not trying to do too much against the live arm of Yu Darvish.
So the Indians with a run in the first, another here in the third inning, and the situation just as dangerous for Yu Darvish right now. Edwin Encarnacion at the plate. He doubled in the first inning.
And doubled after Darvish had gotten ahead 0-2 and let the breaking ball over the plate. So we'll see how he approaches this at bat.
Encarnacion swinging at the first pitch. Fouls it off his foot. Encarnacion, one of the guys in this Indians lineup who has had good career numbers against Darvish and a significant number of at-bats against him. He's now 8 for 23 in his career against you. And this one hit on the ground to shortstop. There's one. The relay not in time. The key here, though, was that Lindor had to hold third base. He wasn't real sure whether or not Andrus was going to catch that one on the fly or not, and had to hold.
And that's what you have to do. And there was also a little bit of frustration here from Rougned Odor. So he has to hold there. Elvis looks him back, but the mistake that Odor made was to also look back the runner at third base. Once Elvis did that, Rougned did not have to. You see him look there, take that half a second, make a strong throw, but it was too late. It was that little pause that cost him a double play. Now, it's okay that Elvis did that because Elvis is back and it's kind of close, and take a quick look. But when you think about the way that the middle infield was set up, they're saying, yeah, we want a double play. They weren't playing in. So any ground ball, go ahead and turn the double play. The Rangers were willing to give up the run to do that. So it was okay on the front end, but not necessarily on the back end.
So now with one out and Encarnacion at first base, no real speed there. Ramirez can move a little bit. Once again, if you're Darvish, you should always have the strikeout as a part of your arsenal, but you would love a ground ball here because you could get out of the inning with just the one run allowed. Fouled away, it's 1-1.
You're going back to talking about the ground balls and the double plays and how it's been better here for Yu Darvish. He is not a ground ball pitcher. 42% ground ball rate. That is just below the league average. The league average is 45%. So it's not that he's a bad ground ball pitcher. It doesn't matter. He's a strikeout pitcher. That's what he does. And most strikeout pitchers are fly ball pitchers. But the ground ball rate slightly below league average, which means less double plays.
There's a ground ball, and that one threw into right. Ramirez brings home Lindor. It's 3-0. The throw goes back to the middle, and Ramirez hung up. He's in a run down. Gallo will tag him out on the back. Encarnacion got to third, but again had to hold. There are two out in the inning, but Cleveland does lead 3-0.
Yeah, this wasn't great base running here by Jose Ramirez, but great execution by the Rangers to make sure they get him out without giving up another run. Here's another mislocation on fastball trying to go away. Finishes down and in, and it's ripped into right field. And you see Chu get over to this ball pretty quickly. I don't know what Jose Ramirez saw that made him think he should go for it, because the ball was not over the cutoff man's head. It was right at Elvis Andrus, but he saw something that made him think he could take off. But very nice execution by the Rangers there.
9-6-3 put out. Base hit for Ramirez. Picks up the RBI, but out trying to take the extra base. Two out. Encarnacion at third base for Chisenhall, who's in a hole here, 0-1. He struck out on 3 pitches in the first. And now the count 0-2.
When you're coming around first base in a situation like Jose Ramirez was, you watch the throw, and if you see that throw, you come around first base aggressively, You see the throw is going to be over the cutoff man's head. If they're throwing straight to a bag, then yeah, that's when you take off. But that wasn't the case there, so I'm not sure exactly what he thought he saw.
Chisenhall holds off. 1-2.
Now there are also times, especially with the runner on second, depending on who the runner is, what the game situation is, where they'll tell you to run no matter what to try to draw the cutoff man into taking the throw no matter what, where you're going to sacrifice yourself. But that wasn't that situation.
Well, there's strike 3 called. Chisenhall down on strikes for the second time tonight. Indians pick up 2 more. They lead 3-0. Rangers are excited to bring you the first ever Game of Thrones theme night. It's going to be Wednesday, July 5th. Rangers and Red Sox in the ball game, but this ticket comes with a limited edition House Bannister bobblehead, and you can take your picture on the Iron Throne. Tickets must be purchased, however, through TexasRangers.com/Game of Thrones.
You're missing that one too.
Missing that one as well. Well, the 2, 3, and 4 hitters in this 4th inning for the Rangers, down by 3, but it could be so much worse. I mean, in a way, the Indians have really given the Rangers some gifts in this one so far.
They have. The base running has not been great. Now, on the flip side of that too, the Rangers have handed over a couple, keeping that inning alive. We talked about which probably should have been a double play. Also, the error to start off the game. So a lot of gift giving here so far early on from both teams. But here's the deal: if the Rangers can get back in this game and eventually win it, you can point to those base running mistakes as being a big issue and some missed opportunities for the Indians. And it's strange to see it because they were a very good base running team last year. Not just about speed, but they just ran the bases well. And Terry Francona had talked about it and said, you know what, I got these guys to commit spring training, work on it.
2 hits one well out to right center. Long run out there for Zimmer, and he'll track it down. Talking about him earlier, he's a great defensive center fielder, and we'll start seeing a whole lot more of Bradley Zimmer on your highlight reels.
You will, and for Chu, I think he believed this was a double off the bat. The ball was well struck, but Zimmer just gliding there and slides and makes the play at the end. But he had a great beat on this the whole way. Almost didn't even look like he was running full speed. He's got that kind of movement to him. You get certain guys that are fast but don't look like it takes much effort at all. Very nice play.
I think that's part of what we're going to learn from him, because he covered a lot of ground to get to that one, but made it look somewhat routine. One away, here's Elvis Andrus, and Bauer comes very high with ball 1. Elvis has had a couple of swings the last 2 nights. That's yesterday and tonight, where he's hit the ball pretty well, but it's resulted in a long out. A guy who has just crushed the ball in this ballpark over the years. But he's run into a spate of bad luck here the last couple of nights, and this one hit sharply back up the middle. That's a base hit, and that is the first base hit tonight for the Rangers. All right, so a base runner on. Adrian Beltre coming up, and let's check in with Emily Jones.
Yeah, a lot of people feel like Elvis Andrus will be the Rangers representative in the All-Star game. Asked Elvis if he would play since his first child is due right around that time. He said, you know, you just don't ever know what's going to happen. Let's wait and see if I get named to the All-Star game. Let's wait and see if his wife Corey has the baby a little early, and everything else will work itself out. But he is obviously very interested in playing. Will do everything he can to make it, unless, of course, it means missing the birth of his child, guys.
Beltre pops one up into left field, and Brantley is there, 2 away.
That is a huge part of playing in the big leagues. Now they do a nice job with paternity leave. 3 days. They did not have that back in the old days when I played. But the other thing is that, and I have no idea what Elvis is planning on doing for him and his wife, but what some players have done too is if you're really close to the All-Star break, and your wife doesn't go into labor yet, some people will induce over. Of course, the All-Star break, an ideal time to maybe try to make that happen if the doctors give you the okay. Kind of wonder if maybe that would be a possibility and could get in the way, or some moms just prefer to ride it out and let it happen naturally.
We saw some of the rankings there for Elvis among American League shortstop. I mean, top 3 or 4 in most categories. It's been a really good year for him, but the guy playing shortstop here in Cleveland, he's a pretty good one. Francisco Lindor, Carlos Correa in Houston, he's having a big year.
Xander Bogaerts as well. I mean, there are very good shortstops in the American League. And just to be clear, understand, I have no idea. I've not talked to Elvis about this at all. Just these are the options. This is more of my experience, the life of Major League Baseball players and baseball wives.
Zara hits one well center field. Zimmer goes back and tracks that one down as well. Inning over. Rangers leave a man. We go to the bottom of the 4th. 3-0 Cleveland. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. And by Ford. Visit your local Texas Ford dealer now during the Ford Summer Sales Event and see why Ford is the best in Texas. Beautiful night here in Cleveland. 3-0 Indians lead as Darvish goes out for a 4th inning of work. We'll have Santana, Zimmer, and Roberto Perez. Looking at some of his ranks in the American League, we were talking earlier about Darvish as a potential all-star. And to me, somewhat of a no-brainer. Should he not pitch on the Sunday before the All-Star break, you would imagine that he would be selected.
It's always a possibility as they trim those rosters by 2 now, right? I think they're down to 32, if I'm not mistaken.
Right, which was it 35 previously?
I thought it was 34. These are probably things I should look up before. You know, as much research as I do, and I still find myself going, 34 was the previous number, correct? Yes, and now we're at 32.
2-0. And tap foul. So anyway, yes. So they've trimmed the rosters by 2, but they've also kind of I don't want to say limited, but they have at least made it a lot clearer now for guys pitching on Sunday. Don't worry about it. 2-2.
You see that low call, a low strike now getting called. Right? We did not see that early on, but really after the strikeout to Zimmer, the one caught the bottom of the zone, the good 2-seam fastball from you, Darvish. We're now seeing that call get made a little bit more.
Not that low though. Full count on Santana, who popped up in the 2nd inning.
See Darvish, how good he is. 2 strikes, just at 119 batting average against.
Well, that ball well struck out to center field, but tracked down by DeShields, 1 away.
I mentioned this earlier as far as the opponent batting average. This was coming into tonight. Yu Darvish 2nd in the American League, 3rd in Major League Baseball overall. Max Scherzer is 1st. You see Ervin Santana there 1st in the American League, 2nd overall. Pretty impressive number right there. 199. And Darvish does a good job of splitting it up too. 210 versus lefties, 190 versus righties. This is not the type of pitcher, not surprising with his power stuff, where one-sided hitter has an advantage over another. Home runs are split up, 6 to lefties, 7 to righties.
No, he's been very good. 6 wins, 5 losses. The earned run average at .312. That was 5th best in the American League coming in. The biggest difference in his numbers this year over the previous years in his career, walks are up, strikeouts per 9 down. And it's 1-1 on Zimmer.
He's been at such an elite level. I think that's the one thing. The expectations are so high. We did a lot of talking about that coming into the season. Yu Darvish, the most prolific strikeout pitcher with a minimum of 100 starts. And so when he has what is still a very good year, and he comes in tonight 9.7 per 9, still really, really good. Because the expectations have been so high, because he's been up over 11 each of his last 3 seasons. 9.7 almost seems like that's pretty unfair.
Now, for context, that 9.7 is 8th best in the American League. It's well below his career average. In fact, it pulls his career average down to 11.1 strikeouts per 9 innings. But compared to mere mortals, it's still extraordinarily good.
They are overall, and one of them that you don't see there, another area where he's been very strong. 11 quality starts of his 16 this year. It's 4th best in the American League.
It's 2-2, and this one lined to center field, a base hit. So Zimmer is on. He had a really competitive at bat in the 2nd inning. Saw 11 pitches, and then this time finally works himself a single.
Well, we just talked about it, and it is the can't miss event of the summer. It's going to hit South Beach. That's when baseball's biggest stars will take the field for the MLB All-Star Game. That's July 11th, and it's only on Fox. A Nevin, Giant Nevin. July 11th.
Would you like to, maybe it's a good time to ask you for your favorite All-Star memory?
That would have to be 1981, Suffering Little League. We went up against Pearl River. It was a tough one. I started that game. We fought off to the end, and that was pretty much the last All-Star team I made.
Roberto Perez 0 for 1. Still have the uni?
I think I do. I have a lot of them. I have my 12-year-old polyester, actually, and it's blue, powder blue jersey. It just says Cubs with those iron-on letters just peeling off.
Zimmer off first, and he'll draw a throw. We mentioned earlier Zimmer moves 7 steals this year in 8 attempts. So don't be lulled to sleep by his size. He can run. It's been a struggle at the plate this year for Roberto Perez. He takes this one very high. Perez started Monday night's game, but had a great game for him. A couple of doubles, couple of walks, drove in a few, scored 2. Sharing some of the catcher's duties here with Yan Gomes. Zimmer with another lead, not going. The pitch on the way. Bouncer, shortstop. Andrus, quick flip second. The relay from Odor, and plenty of time to turn the 6-4-3 double play. So just like that, the inning is done. We go to the 5th tonight. Rangers offense needs to get something going. Inning Saturday, July 8th. Rangers and Angels. It's an 8:05 first pitch, but we're going retro for Turn Back the Clock night. First 15,000 fans 14 and older get a Mike Napoli powder blue replica jersey courtesy of Fox Sports Southwest and Southwest Airlines. Tickets are available at TexasRangers.com or by calling 972-RANGERS. There's Matt. Got the day off today. He and the man to his right, Carlos Gomez. Gomez nursing a sore back, was out of the lineup yesterday and today. And Jonathan Lucroy fouls back, strike 1.
I got Eleno out of the seat, that foul ball a few booths down. Thought he had a chance doing Spanish radio for the Texas Rangers, and big smile on his face too as he reached out.
Eleno's the best. Talk about a hard-working guy. Does all the games on the road, does them solo. No color man. All the play-by-play.
18th season.
Yeah. He also is a translator in the clubhouse for any of the ball players who are not yet comfortable enough with English to deal with the reporters. So he'll go down there and assist in that as well. Pre-game, post-game.
Maybe have him come in here and read some of my promos.
Let me tell you something.
For guys that struggle with English, like myself.
Yeah, no, he's a pro. He'll take care of you. 2-2. Jonathan Lucroy. He's also our social director in a couple of different cities. Tampa Bay, one of them. Boy, he owns that city.
He's the mayor of Tampa.
2-2. And it's a full count now on Lucroy.
And you see here, the Indians will play Jonathan Lucroy straight up, as they should. When he gets 2 strikes, he has a pull rate of just 24%. And we know he goes the other way a lot, so trying to go the other way, either up the middle, 75%, or to the right side. That is the best rate in baseball as far as taking the ball the other way once he gets 2 strikes. You can see it right there by that swing as he keeps his hands in. Now, 24% means he still does it. It all depends on the pitch as well. A fastball in, he's trying to keep his hands in, but you may throw him a breaking ball or a changeup, or he might get out there and hook it a little bit and pull that ball to the left side. But most of what you see from Jonathan Lucroy, 3 out of 4 times with 2 strikes, he's hitting the ball the other way.
Then why not shift that way? There's a bouncer right side as guessed. Kipnis right there for it. And Lucroy retired to start the 5th inning.
Well, you still want to, I think, have your shortstop in his main spot. 25% for me is probably a number where you just don't think about shifting in the opposite direction, right? He's a guy that you start to play straight up. If it got a little bit higher than that, or I should say lower, you start to get into 80 or 85%, then maybe you go that route. But the way that they do here against Odor.
Well, we see shifts all the time, especially commonly against left-handed hitters. Much less frequently with right-handed hitters to the pull side. I don't think I've ever seen a shift, though, the opposite field for anyone, left or right, is a pop-up into center, handled by Zimmer, and there are 2 away.
Well, you know how sometimes we'll see teams move around depending on the count. We saw that in New York with the Yankees. That might be one of those situations where, okay, you play Jonathan Lucroy straight up, but with 2 strikes, then maybe you cheat a little bit to the other side based on the numbers. But those numbers, while they're the best or lowest, everyone look at it in Major League Baseball, they're still not high enough for me to do an extreme shift with 2 strikes.
All right, well, here's Robinson Chirino. So for one, both these teams, for what it's worth, do shift well. They have done well by their defensive alignment.
Take a look at Robinson Chirinos here real quick. The at-bat per home run ratio. Look at players with at least 100 plate appearances. He's the best. He hits more home runs per at-bat than anybody else in the game. Incredible.
1-1 the count. So then you would advocate here to shift the outfielders to the other side of the fence.
I think they should all go in left field right now up there in the stands. Let's get their best chance at catching this baseball right here.
1-2 the count. Well, the Rangers have just 1 hit so far tonight against Trevor Bauer. The right-hander has done an excellent job for Cleveland. He has faced just 2 over the minimum. 1 walk, that was to Gallo. The base hit was to Elvis Andrus. Chirinos holds off. It's 2-2.
Not only that, but the pitch count for Trevor Bauer is very manageable. Interesting to see that the Rangers have only struck out twice so far today, knowing that this is a guy with a 10.3 per 9 strikeout rate. Very high rate for him.
Chirinos just takes one off the plate. It's a full count.
But he's always a high pitch count guy. The walks can get up there. He's had a couple of games this year where he has walked 5. A 14 strikeout game earlier this year. So as the strikeouts climb and the walks climb, then the pitch count climbs. So that's not been the case tonight.
Chirinos hammers one to center field. Zimmer goes back. It is gone. Robinson Chirinos has done it again. Today, starting as the designated hitter, hits another home run. It is number 12. He gets the Rangers on the board at 3-1 game.
And how fun has this been to watch Robinson Chirinos? You mentioned him doing it again. We were just talking about the home runs per at-bat ratio, 8.8. That just went down, got even better, adding to his lead. And now he is just 1 away from tying his career high. He had 13 home runs back in 2014. Well, it took 338 plate appearances to get there. In 113, essentially almost 1/3 of those plate appearances. He's at 12 home runs. On fire. And that was a bomb too. That's opposite field.
Yeah.
That one carried. That did not squeak out of here.
Well, bounced in the Indians bullpen up into the Rangers bullpen. Man, he is locked in right now. And we have not seen so many back-to-back starts for him. Yesterday caught and hit a homer. Today in there for a second night in a row as the DH and homers. And Gallo swings and misses. That strikeout ends the fifth. But take a bow, Robinson Chirinos. Are you kidding me? Another home run. Number 12 on the year for him. We're halfway there with a 3-1 game. At the top of the fifth inning. Maybe a little support now for you, Darvish. And here it was. Robinson Chirinos.
And he crushes this ball off to about 105 miles an hour. The distance 430 feet as he hits it to right center. The sweet swing of Robinson Chirinos.
On top of the order in this fifth inning for the Indians, Jason Kipnis, who has scored twice already. Reached on the error in the first inning, walked in the third. Darvish gets him to chase that one. To the count 0-2. Kipnis yesterday was 1 for 4. It's a second straight game in which he is led off for the Indians. He was batting second when we got here Monday night. Had a walk, a base hit. Also drove in a run with a sac fly on Monday. There's not been a great year though for Kipnis. Average way down, the on base percentage way down as well. Holds off, and that one down low makes it 1-2. Kipnis coming off a real good year last year with the Indians, in which he had 275 with 23 home runs. And was getting on at better than a 340 clip. The 1-2 pitch. This one out to left field. Mazara goes back again, gets turned around, and will take it high off that wall. His throw back to second base goes all the way to first. It's a leadoff double for Kipnis.
Well, Mazara played this right. He didn't have any chance at catching this baseball once he realized that. He turned And then he got a little bit aggressive with the throw. You'll see this pitch here, not a bad one. Two-seam fastball running away from Kipnis. Credit the hitter with a nice job. But right here, Lazar realizes he's not going to get it, plays it off the wall, gets a bare hand, and then got extremely aggressive on the throw. And you're going to see this thing almost reach Joey Gallo in the air. That's showing it off. I don't think it played second anyway. No harm, no foul. Just in case you were wondering how far Nomar Mazara could throw a baseball, I got a pretty good idea.
He does have a good arm. So Kipnis with the leadoff double. Now Lindor, he's been the toughest out here. A couple of base hits so far tonight. Comes up empty here. The count 0-2. Lindor drove in a run in the first inning with his single to right field. Came up in the third inning and his base hit into center. Put Kipnis at third. Bounces in front of the plate. 1-2 the count on Lindor. Michael Brantley waiting on deck.
It's pretty interesting to watch the two balls that Jason Kipnis has hit so far, driving the ball to left field, one an error, one off the wall. And you take a look at a spray chart against right-handed pitchers. He hits more fly balls to the left center field gap and straight away left center field than he does to right. Even though he's got some home run power, the home runs have all been to right field, but he actually hits the ball in the air to the left side of the outfield and the center field much more than he does to right field.
Held up to get a piece of the bat on that one. You can see his body started way ahead of it. He managed to keep the bat back long enough just to get a piece. One-two pitch. Some of these Indians hitters tonight have done a real good job of fighting off some good pitches from Darvish. He just had one of those nights where he's been unable to sneak too many past him.
You know, sir, you heard that grunt on that last fastball as well, and that's probably some of the frustration of not being able to get the ball past guys like Lindor today.
This one out to left field. Mazara to his right, and he'll make the play for out number one. Bring up Michael Brantley. Now Brantley's 1 for 2. Reached on the fielder's choice in the first inning. Singled in a run in the third. They scored a run in the first, 2 in the third inning. Indians 3 runs on 7 hits so far tonight. Rangers have scored 1 run on 2 hits. The run came on the Robinson Chirino solo home run. Brantley rolls it foul. When you talk about some of the good young players on this Indians team, and we spent some time discussing Bradley Zimmer earlier. Well, Michael Brantley now 30 years old. Sadly has had to miss very significant time for injury both last year and again this year. Runner goes. And that one is a called strike. Brantley had to take all the way because Kipnis had such a big jump he didn't want to spoil it. Kipnis with a steal of third.
Monster jump there by Jason Kipnis, who just caught Yu Darvish off guard, not paying attention. And it's the one look, and I say one look because Yu Darvish looked out at second base once, turned back, and Jason Kipnis was picking up on that habit, and that's why he was able to get that huge jump. 11 stolen base against Yu Darvish this year. He came in tonight tied for third in the American League with the most stolen bases allowed. Third most.
Infield in. There's a swing and a miss. Brantley strikes out swinging, 2 away in the 5th inning. All right, time for us to take a Chevy game break. Let's send it back once again to Dana Larson. All right, thanks, Dana. Two away here. Kipnis at third base. Encarnacion, right-handed hitter. We talked about this last night. Rangers employ that shift we see for so many left-handed hitters, and you don't see very often for righties.
No, you don't. And check this out here. Now, this is Edwin Encarnacion, ground balls by direction. So when he puts the ball in play on the ground, you see that 91% to center or to left, and so that's why they put that shift against him. Now, Yu Darvish is not necessarily a great ground ball pitcher. We talked about that earlier, but if you can get Edwin Encarnacion to hit the ball on the ground, he's probably going to do it to that side of the field, and he's only got a batting average of 173 on ground balls. Now, part of that is because teams are shifting him to that side. That is the seventh worst for any right-handed hitter in the game. So you mentioned it. We don't see it too often, but that is exactly why the Rangers do this against Edwin Encarnacion. 91% of his ground balls either basically to the right of the standard second base position.
Well, he pops this one up, but the other direction, and about 4 rows up into the stands.
And now, because of that, Joey Gallo knows that he has much more ground to cover, whether it be on a ground ball to that side or even pop-ups. Right, those little pop-ups, you saw that one ended up going into foul territory, but if that one is behind him more, and a lot of times you're going to get some help from your second baseman, you're not getting that now because Ruben Odor is playing behind second base. Now, he slid over a little bit here with 2 strikes. Originally, he was to the left side of second base.
Darvish with a long look in. And he misses outside, 2-2 to Encarnacion, who was doubled and reached on a fielder's choice. Indians have had some opportunities early on in this one. And they've managed the 3 runs, but by all rights could have been more. Darvish would love to keep it a 2-run game going to the 6th inning. It's 2-2. Swung on and missed, strike 3, and Encarnacion down on strikes 2 in the 5th. Back-to-back Ks for Yu Darvish.
Yu Darvish does a great job of pitching around that leadoff double, humping up on the big fastball that he blows past Edwin Encarnacion.
For the Sonic Slam inning, brought to you by Sonic Drive-In. Our jackpot tonight, $1,100 plus dinner for 2 at Sonic Drive-In today. Jan Allred of Fremont, she's our contestant. So if a Ranger hits a home run this inning, Jan wins $1,100. If a Ranger makes it a grand slam, well, Jan wins $25,000. Good luck. Here we go. Top of the order in the 6th inning against Trevor Bauer, who's been pretty good so far tonight. He's allowed the 1 home run to Robinson Chirinos. Other than that, a walk and a single, and his first pitch to Delano DeShields is upstairs. Now, this is the third time through the order for the Rangers. We'll see if that results in any additional opportunity or comfort against Bauer.
He has seen his numbers jump. 254 first time through, 252 second time through. That's batting average against, 313 third time through, and also 6 home runs allowed, which is the most of any time through the order. So some opportunity here potentially for the Rangers. The other thing that Bauer has done really well and what he's stayed away from tonight coming into this game, he had a 552 batting average against on the first pitch. We've talked a lot about that. The Rangers have been really good on first pitches. Now, sometimes that means because he's throwing a ball or whatever it may be. He hasn't really thrown anything or much down the middle early on. Very hittable pitches, but he's done a nice job of kind of correcting the course there. That was third worst in Major League Baseball. 552 batting average against on first pitch.
Here's a 2-2. And DeShields rolls it to the right side. Kipnis on top of it. His throw to first just in time. DeShields can put some pressure on you moving down that line and very nearly beat that one out. So 1 away. It's time now for our unlimited baseball break, brought to you by T-Mobile. Miguel Montero, if you missed this today, designated for assignment by the Cubs. 7 stolen bases against him last night, but the story really was his reaction after the game yesterday. Cody Bellinger, 13 home runs in June. Home run every 7.2 at bats. He has been unbelievable for the Dodgers. And now 0 for 2. Fouls that one right off his foot.
That Montero story was an interesting one. He was upset. He hasn't thrown a hitter out all year, or excuse me, a base runner out all year. And so Jake Arrieta, who was struggling and is slow to the plate, did not pitch well in his game, and basically blamed Jake Arrieta. Flat out called him out on it. Might be partially true, but Anthony Rizzo had a pretty good comment in reply to that and said, well, you know, Wilson Contreras is throwing out a ton of guys, so maybe it's you. And the Cubs weren't having it, and you know, that's the difference too. Now I wonder, this was 15 years ago, and he said that to the local radio station. I think it was an ESPN local radio affiliate that he mentioned that to. Would he have gotten DFA'd? Because what happens now is it takes off like wildfire, right? Social media, you say something like that, everybody's talking about it, and there's some pressure on the, I think that's put on the Cubs organization, or they decide to squash it right away. That's a newspaper quote or a radio quote. I don't know if he gets.
What do you think?
I do. I think it's changed. I think the climate has changed a little bit. You see fastball up here, 2-seam fastball trying to go in, ran back over the plate. You see Chu keep the arms in, hands in, really nice, throws that ball right back up to the middle. I do think that because of the reaction. I mean, listen, it was a terrible thing to say. You don't do that. You don't say that about your teammates. Even if you feel that way, you don't say it to the media. But I do feel like there's probably more pressure than ever. More people talking about it, where an organization feels like they have to react. Disagree?
Well, in his situation, it was not the first time it's happened. He had a little trouble in Arizona. In fact, with Trevor Bauer.
Yep.
Guy pitching tonight here for the Indians. He had a little trouble at the end of the postseason last year. Is this one a little low, and it's 2-0 to Andrus. He was complaining about playing time last year in the postseason with the Cubs. And I think, you know, Anthony Rizzo came out today. He was pretty straightforward about his distaste for Montero's comments. I think he probably had been on thin ice, and I think he just snapped, and I think the time had come. And so had it been in the newspaper or elsewhere, he might well have finally run up against the end of that rope. So I don't know, but I agree with you. I get that there's definitely a different climate. They did not waste any time. Boy, oh boy, they
yeah,
got in front of that one in a hurry.
They did. You know what's funny? I was working out today, and I was almost going to
say.
That
is funny.
That is funny, right? So I'm working out today, and I'm at the gym downstairs at the hotel, and I almost tweeted out just kind of randomly. I was going to tweet out how to get released 101 by Miguel Montero, now available like on Amazon, like some stupid joke, right?
But you were too tired?
I was like, nah, forget it. Let me go throw these weights around a little bit more. And so I didn't do it. And then like 20 minutes later, he got released. I would have been ahead of it, man.
Oh, man.
I blew it.
Well, your Twitter game's half a step late now.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Have you seen the pipes today?
Yeah, pretty good. This one lined out to left center field. Base hit for Elvis Andrus. Stopping at second, 2. Rangers have a couple of base runners on. And so a chance this third time through the order. Maybe getting a better look at Bauer. Tying runs are on.
We mentioned it, the batting average against up over 300, 313, third time around. And so far here, the Rangers 2 for 3, and there are 3 at bats against Trevor Bauer. Now, he does have the kind of stuff that you would think would play deeper in the game, multiple at bats against the same hitters because it's live and because it's a very deep repertoire, and he can get you out a bunch of different ways. He's not just a one-trick pony by any means, but the batting average against overall 270 for him has been very high. It's been very high on his four-seam fastball, nearly 300 with the 6 home runs allowed. He doesn't have that one dominant pitch the way that Yu Darvish does with the slider 148 or the curveball 059. So there may be an opening here for the Rangers.
Well, they've got Adrian Beltre at the plate. And a breaking ball in there for a strike. You talk about a deep repertoire for Bauer. He says at one time or another he's deployed as many as 19 different pitches, some of which clearly he invented. The reverse slider.
The shoot-o. We saw that from Dice K, remember when he broke in.
The shoot-o, yeah. And he said there was a time, this was many years ago, I read this article where he mentioned he had a pitch he called the bird. You familiar with this one?
I'm not. I'm assuming there's some kind of.
It was like a split finger that he threw with his middle finger up.
Oh, nice. So you could give somebody the bird as you were throwing it.
Yep. Bouncer down the third base line. Long throw from Ramirez. And it is in time to get Beltre. Everybody advances a base, but there are 2 away.
Well, this is a really nice play by Jose Ramirez, who is a great defender. Obviously, when you have Francisco Lindor on your team, you're not going to be the best defender, but they love his defense at third and at second. He has played second base when Jason Kipnis has missed time. He is probably their second best defender. He doesn't look the part, right? Stocky, strong down. Doesn't necessarily look like he would have the range, but he does, and he really has emerged here. He is a fun player to watch, both offensively and defensively. Incredibly unselfish as they moved him around off a shortstop, so Lindor can play short. Put him in left, they put him in third. When they first put him in left, it was let's go knock some balls down. It was kind of the attitude they thought. And he played better than they thought he would. But he's been tremendous at third base, and you just got to see it right there.
Well, there's some here locally arguing, and I think there's a pretty good argument to be made that really he should be the third baseman on the All-Star team.
Sure.
So 2 gone. But 2-minute scoring position for Mazzara, and he takes a strike on the outside corner.
It is the fans' game, right? It doesn't count anymore, the All-Star game, as far as home field advantage in the postseason, which is a smart thing in the World Series. I think it's a smart decision that we have made. But because of that, you are going to get some guys that start in the All-Star game that probably shouldn't.
Bounces up there, smothered nicely by Perez. 1 ball, 1 strike on Nomar Mazzara. A 3-1 ball game. Bauer really for the first time today dealing with a threatening spot. It's the first time that the Rangers have had men in scoring position while he's been on the mound. Mazzara with 47 RBIs takes one just off the outside corner. It's 2-1.
And you look at third base when you were talking about in the American League, Jose Ramirez right up there with the league leaders, tied for first with Evan Longoria and Kyle Seager. As far as hits go, not a huge power guy. He's only got 8 this year. You got Mike Moustakas, who has 17 as a third baseman.
Foul tip, 2-2 the count.
But he's got them all in batting average, 317 when he's playing the position. So there's definitely a good argument to be made.
Nomar with just 1 hit on this road trip so far. 3 games in New York, now here in Cleveland. Now he did not play 2 games in New York after being hit by a pitch on his right arm by Aroldis Chapman. That was late Friday night. But he's been back in there. And now in a really critical spot here in the top of the 6th inning, he'll ask for time.
Roberto Perez wants to go over this with Trevor Bauer, make sure they get it right. That is the potential tying run out on second base. You certainly want to make sure everybody's on the same page. But because, let's say he's stubborn, he's a little stubborn, he has a plan, right? He is strong-minded, he knows what he wants to do. Those conversations are probably a little bit different than they are for your average pitcher and catcher. And Roberto Perez knows that when he goes out there too. Right? He's been there enough times now. Bauer's been here for a couple of seasons where it's not like, hey, I really like this, let's do this. He knows he's got to go out there for a little fight and really try to talk Trevor Bauer into what he wants to do, and he better make a good sales pitch on why he wants to do it.
This one in the dirt. Full count on Mazara. Now Boone Logan, the big Texan, loosen it up for the Indians. Chu is at third, Andrus at second base. And the time runs with him. Bauer becoming much more deliberate here. Working to Mazara, who he has gotten to ground out to second and fly out to center field. They're playing straight up in the outfield. Slight shift on the infield. And this ball bounced to second base. Kipnis is there, and that will do it. So the Rangers leave 2 in scoring position. We go to the bottom of the 6th inning in downtown Cleveland, where the Indians lead by 2. So we go to the bottom of the 6th inning. Robinson Chirinos, his 12th home run of the season, a solo shot in the 5th. Just spectacular what he's been able to do, but the story has been Trevor Bauer. Only 3 strikeouts today, the 98 pitches thrown through 6 innings, but he has limited the Rangers to the 1 run. Darvish now goes to work against Jose Ramirez in the 6th inning. Ramirez has reached on a fielder's choice and singled. Been some messy innings tonight for Darvish. But has kept the Indians to just the 3 runs so far on 7 hits. Even things up at 1-1 on Ramirez.
Yeah, he had, as you see, Ernesto Ferreri warming up now in the Ranger bullpen, but it was the error in the 1st inning, very first batter of the game, that led to a run, and then walking a couple of singles that led to the 2. But other than that, that was in the 3rd inning. Darvish has thrown the ball pretty well. Pitch count overall, I mean, you see by inning didn't really have the blow up inning. The fact that he only threw 18 in that 1st inning based on everything that had happened. Darvish this year has done a nice job averaging 16.3 per inning, so a little bit high for him, but again managed some trouble in both the first and third inning. Did a good job of not letting anything get away from him, I thought.
You know, that's become so much more part of the conversation these days. The pitches per inning. What guys should average. Where are they in terms of big innings? Is this one hit high in the air to center field? DeShields ranging to his left. And that is out number 1. Would you have any clue idea at all what your pitches per inning might have been?
Mine? No. Don't do that to the folks, man.
No, it's just, I mean, it's just because, like, were you aware of the fact, like, geez, boy, I really use too many pitches per inning?
Well, as a reliever, it didn't matter as much. You just had to get your outs for me. I had to get my lefties out. I was a terrible starter. I was not a good starter. I don't know how I got 44 starts in the big league. I kept tricking somebody into giving me starts, but that did not go particularly well. So that number would be astronomical. As a reliever, yeah, probably still pretty high. I walked a lot of guys. Now, do you know what the league average is now?
Well, I'll just go ahead and guess, which is the long way of saying no. I don't know what the league average is now. Chisenhall takes a strike. I'll say it's 15.6.
You're off by 1 pitch. 16.6 is the league average for pitches per inning pitched.
0-2 on Chisenhall. Okay.
And
that's a number that's gone up, though, right?
Yeah. Do you have mine in front of you? Is that what you're saying?
No,
okay,
I do not.
Because it's probably like 18 or 19.
No, and that was not the point. The point was just like, would you have even been cognizant of it? Were guys you played with really cognizant of, like, ooh, boy, that was a 17-pitch inning. I really need to get it back together.
Yeah, I mean, you had a pretty good idea. Pitch counts were a little bit more liberal. It was no big deal. I remember throwing 130 plus pitches in a game. Solid 4 innings for me we had in that one, but I done it. I mean, it's, and it's not it wasn't, this is mid-90s into the 2000s. It wasn't a big deal. I'll become a little bit more careful now, so I think teams pay a lot closer attention to that. Players know, they have an idea. I don't think they're worried about it over decimal points or even a pitch or two. They want to get deep in games, period. That's what starters want to do. And so if they all of a sudden look up and it's, here's Yu Darvish in the bottom of the 6th inning and he's starting to knock on the door 100. He knows that probably could have been a little bit better tonight, but he hasn't been terrible. It's kind of average for him so far. But guys know, they have an idea, especially now because there's the conversation of pitch counts is pretty prevalent in the game.
Very prevalent. 1 out. Chisenhall waiting on a 1-2 pitch. He has struck out twice tonight. Darvish has had him well contained so far. This is also the 3rd time through for these Indians hitters. Very high. All right. Well, I now have the numbers thanks to our crack staff on the truck. That didn't take long. They were chiming in very quickly with your numbers. Do you want to know as a starter, as a reliever?
Ooh, as a starter, entertain me on the starter one. I'll say as a starter was 19.5.
You were better than that. 18.8.
All right.
See?
Sweet.
And you were better. You were more efficient as a reliever.
I hung in there. I held my own. I was an average reliever. Had a couple of decent years. Kept me in the game. Certainly took advantage of being left-handed. Don't be afraid. I'm not ashamed of that at all. All right. As a reliever, say 17.1.
Very close as Chisenhall swings and misses, strikes out for the 3rd time this evening. That'll bring up Carlos Santana. No, as a reliever, 17.4.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
I wasn't afraid to walk some folks.
Well, you got to work around the tough hitters.
No doubt.
So 2 away. Here is Santana. He's popped up to second. He's also flied out to center field. Darvish edging ever closer to 100 pitches for the night. In fact, this one will be number 100 for him. Ahead of Santana, 0-1. Has 6 strikeouts so far. Part of the conversation earlier tonight about Darvish has been that the strikeout numbers, while very good, I mean, he's 3rd in the American League, has 115 up to the moment. There's a swing and a miss. It's 0-2. But the strikeout numbers down a little bit this year over previous years. He's gotten a couple when he's really needed him. Brantley and Encarnacion come to mind last inning with a man at 3rd, 1 out.
saw this number today. I run into more and more things. I wanted to go to bed last night, 11 o'clock. I didn't. I climbed into bed, picked up my computer, and I was up till 2 a.m. just looking at all different things in both teams. But pretty interesting one here for you, Darvish, when he gets to 2 strikes.
This ball hit sharply down to first. Gallo grabs it, goes to the bag, and that ends the inning. We'll have to get to that a little later. We go to the 7th inning. Jonathan Lucroy will be leading things off when we come back. Rangers down by 2.
In Cleveland, the Indians are leading the Rangers by a score of 3-1. And the Rangers and Dr. Pepper are teaming up to save you some money. Bring a Dr. Pepper can to the box office or use the online coupon code Dr. Pepper to get tickets starting at just $13. Visit TexasRangers.com/specials to get your tickets for Sunday, July 9th, when the Rangers will take on the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. It almost feels like it's forced. They feel like they're supposed to boo Jonathan Lucroy.
How many questions are being asked around the stadium?
Oh, no doubt.
What's going on here? He hates Cleveland.
Some lie. Come up with something.
Maybe, you know, the possibility exists as Bauer fires a little high, ball 1. The possibility exists they're not booing him at all.
That's a good
Maybe
point.
he's got a lot of fans here, and they're looing him. Loo.
That's a good point.
Be wrong this whole time. What else would be new? 2-0. The count to Lucroy, who struck out in the 2nd, grounded out in the 5th.
You know, one of the nice things about being a starter here for the Cleveland Indians, we talk about their dominant bullpen. Anytime you get into the 7th inning, it's a huge bonus. With a lead, now you're on a very short leash because they have to shut down relievers at the back end. I don't think Trevor Bauer would be around very long if anybody reaches base, especially when you start looking at the Ranger lineup after Jonathan Lucroy. Got a couple of lefties with Robinson Chirinos in between. But it is deep. Now, Cody Allen has pitched 3 of the last 4, so 7 innings will be great because I'm sure they'd love to give him a day off. But everybody else is pretty fresh, including Andrew Miller.
Lucroy sends this one out to right field. Chisenhall is there. 1 out of the 7th inning. Hey, tomorrow, AT&T pitching matchup. Andrew Cashner back in the rotation. It'd be great to have him back tomorrow. Corey Kluber will take the ball for Cleveland. Our coverage begins at 10:30 a.m. Yeah, that is not a misprint. Early game tomorrow, noon local time for the first pitch tomorrow. So get up early and join us on Fox Sports Southwest.
So Mickey Callaway is actually out, the pitching coach. He's making the call. Terry Francona is back, but wasn't feeling great. And he even said on Monday they actually wanted Mickey Callaway to head out there and make a pitching change. And he's going to do that again here tonight.
Yeah, so Bauer is done. Got the first man in the 7th. Rangers are into the Indians' pen. Last inning, but it is Andrew Miller.
The old switcheroo they pulled on us.
Yeah, the old switcheroo.
One of their tall lefties, and you see this bullpen here in Cleveland and how they have just been crushing it. They're pretty incredible to watch. I got a question though about Andrew Miller. A little mystery here as they're playing Michael Jackson's "Beat It." Do you think that's his choice of?
I don't.
Walkout music?
Nope, I don't think that was his thing. I think you get a couple. Maybe they have a limit as to
of your own.
Yeah, how long your little intro bit is, because I heard it. He was coming in. I don't know what it was, but
yep. Then they changed it,
and then they went their own direction.
He doesn't deserve that. A lesser reliever, yes, you only get a little bit of your song. If I'm Andrew Miller, I want all of my song. He's throwing his pitches. He's trying to get locked in.
He's fine.
Cannot get locked in to beat it.
Oh, that's insane. Here's the first pitch to Rougned Odor. Tell that to Goose Gossett. Odor 0 for 2.
I mentioned Andrew Miller. He threw 17 pitches in yesterday's game, but he had 4 days off prior to that. So he is certainly feeling very fresh right now. And it is fastball slider. The fastball averaging 94 miles an hour. The slider will sit at 84. He has been nasty this year yet again.
This one lined up the middle, but Lindor placed perfectly. He'll haul it in, and there are 2 away.
Man, what a tough break for Rougned Odor. That's a good at-bat, good contact against one of the toughest lefties in the game. Let's check our AT&T high-speed replay for tonight, and it is the man that is at the plate now, Robinson Chirinos, taking Trevor Bauer to right center field 430 feet away, and ball bounced into the Ranger bullpen, his 12th of the season, now just 1 off of his career high of 13.
Well, he watches a strike from Andrew Miller. And moves him off the plate. We saw Miller last night throw an inning. Chirinos batted in that inning and he walked. Now behind 1 and 2.
No, it's so interesting that Andrew Miller dominates righties the way that he does with the 121 batting average against. It's one thing when it's left-hand lefty and the ball feels like it's coming at you and it's hard to stay in there. His advantage is that slider that just keeps coming in and down, and it seems like it just never stops.
Chirinos swings and misses at strike 3. Perez will throw it down to first to complete the strikeout, and the inning is done. They stand and stretch in Cleveland. The Indians up by 2.
are still leading the Rangers by a score of 3-1. Fox Sports Supports is proud to team up with Positive Coaching Alliance and its mission to develop better athletes and better people. They work to provide all youth and high school athletes a positive, character-building sports experience. Make sure you visit foxsportssupports.com to learn more.
Well, Ernesto Frieri has come on to pitch in this 7th inning. So Darvish done after 6 tonight, leaves trailing 3-1. Going to be up to this Rangers pen to keep it a 2-run game to the 8th.
You see the arsenal there, the good fastball from Ernesto, who's looked pretty good so far here with the Rangers. The arm certainly has looked good. Hasn't pitched that much, just once over the last 6 days, and that was back on June 25th. So he's had a couple of days off. He's up and ready to go.
Well, they'll have the 8 and 9 hitters to start things, and the back up top for Jason Kipnis. Brantley Zimmer swings at the first pitch and rolls it just foul on that first baseline. Zimmer struck out in the 2nd, singled in the 4th inning. We had a circus of a ball game here Monday night. One that Cleveland won 15-9. And it was a ball game played in 2 different acts. Act 1 had the Rangers just streaking out to a 9-2 lead into the bottom of the 4th inning of that one. And then Cleveland finishing on a 13-0 run to win it in Act 2. Then yesterday, just a beautifully pitched game. Ultimately won in the 9th inning on a home run by Adrian Beltre. 2-1 our final score yesterday in a game that saw a combined 6 hits. Back to a slightly more normal affair tonight, and it goes to 3-1 on Zimmer.
Yeah, and good to see, right? That first one was an ugly one, tough loss for the Rangers, and pitches thrown and a run scored, and so far now the game and a half since has been much better play, much more sharp, much more crisp.
There's ball 4, and Zimmer walks to open the 7th inning. The start Frieri was wanting. Time for us to take a Chevy game break. Let's send it back once again to Dana. All right, thanks, Dana. You know, this Central Division, kind of an interesting one. The Indians currently on top by a half game tonight. Twins hovering right there, though, at 39 and 36. Kansas City has come to life, although back under 500 going into play today. They just recently got to the 500 mark. They're long from out of it.
Things are certainly tightening up. Minnesota, the biggest surprise of that group. I think a lot of people were wondering which way the Royals would go. They still had a pretty good amount of their good players left as far as the guys from the championship run, certainly in that lineup. And they're going to be a team that everybody is watching leading up to the deadline, not because they're worried about whether or not they're going to be a team they have to deal with, but whether or not they're actually going to be dealing some of their players. A lot of pending free agents on that team.
I don't know why, but I'm really starting to think that they're gonna make a push instead of selling off.
It's probably the right play. I mean, their fans have really come out now over the last few years after they went through all those years, the rebuilding, some of the failure along the way. They finally got to turn around. They go to Game 7. They get the ring in 2015, and the fans really rewarded them with their loyalty. And so if they're even in and have an outside chance, I believe Dayton Moore, the general manager there, probably does hold on. Maybe a piece or two that he could move that could still help them. You know, if he moves one of their potential free agents, say like Escobar or somebody like that, or shortstop. But I think you're right. We'll see them right after the All-Star break.
Zimmer at first for Cleveland, and Roberto Perez 0 for 2. Waits on the 1-0 from Frieri. And here he comes. Some pretty good zip on it, but missed in. It's 2-0. But how about, I was looking at some numbers for the Cleveland Indians. This was really surprising to me. A team that last year went to Game 7 of the World Series, very nearly upset the Cubs. Certainly looked like they were going to. Their record now at 4 games over 500. And that was after losing last night. Well, that's very close to their high water mark last year. In a World Series year, they're currently 4 games over. Last year, the best they got was 7 games over. I mean, they were, you sort of forget that they kind of had to sweat it out a little bit and just basically get themselves in the postseason and then see where to go from there.
They lost a couple of big arms down the stretch. Carlos Carrasco, Danny Salazar, 2 big pieces in their rotation. And there was a big deal here because it was Paul Hoynes, one of the writers, and the second injury came and basically declared their season over. So they will not be going to the postseason. There will be no dramatic run, and that upset a couple of players in the clubhouse, and they proved otherwise.
When I say high watermark last year, this deep into the season.
Because they finished, what, 94 wins?
Yeah, they got 94 wins. They were just back of the Rangers in terms of total wins last year. Rangers had the best record in the American League. First time they had accomplished that feat in franchise history. Runner goes, and this one fouled back out of play. And of course, Rangers had that home field advantage locked up all the way through. Had they been able to advance past the Toronto Blue Jays, of course, the Indians took that home field advantage then last year into the World Series. Like Game 6 and Game 7 here in Cleveland. Rajai Davis with the great moment in Game 7 that certainly appeared to be the one that would be remembered forever as the turning point, the winner. Well, when you see the Cubs come back and win that.
Home run off of Aroldis Chapman in the postseason, and we just saw Miller come in this game. Chapman set a record for the most pitches thrown by a reliever in a World Series. They worked him pretty good. Andrew Miller was second most all time after that World Series as far as pitches thrown by a reliever in a World Series. They worked those bullpens hard.
I definitely got a sense in that World Series that the Cubs had zero interest in bringing Chapman back and were certainly
so whatever
burning that thing up. And there was part of me that had a little sympathy for Aroldis Chapman.
I agree. And there's no regrets on their part. They got their ring, and this business can be cruel sometimes, especially on relievers and in those situations. Bullpen wasn't that well managed. There was a situation in that World Series where there was a lack of foresight on the part of Joe Madden. There was an opportunity to look ahead and realize that we do this all the time. Phone calls will go, hey, if we score, this guy will be in, that kind of stuff. And they ended up using Chapman in a game that they probably didn't need to, or pitching longer than he probably should have.
A man at first, and Frieri's 3-2 pitch to Perez. Runner goes. This one fouled back our direction again, just to our left.
So we've seen Zimmer now take off a couple times over there at first base. Have to get a StatCast on the number of steps. He's 6'5". It seems like he's taking like 12 steps to get to second base. It's some long strides. But him versus Delino, very similar in speed. How many steps? Here you go, Dave. Start counting.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
I tell you what, my 12 might have been
14.
Yeah, but he slowed down. Full speed, I might have been off on 12. I say Delino's about 16. Zimmer maybe 11.
Goes again, fouled back. Stays 3-2.
Think he's getting tired of that. Third time he's had to sprint to second base.
Perez has hit a couple of ground balls. Frieri would certainly love one here. Well, the infield set up for that double play. Runner goes again. 3-2 pitch. That was ball 4. And as Lucroy tried to stop the throw, spike the ball just a little bit, and we'll hear it from the fans.
I mean, I don't know what they're booing Jonathan Lucroy about. He had to come up because that pitch was really close to being a strike, and you make no assumptions as a catcher until you hear something. You see that just below the zone, but he knows there's a chance that's a strike, and then he tried to stop himself right there. Just kind of threw the ball into the ground. But you cannot blame Jonathan Lucroy for coming up and thinking there was a chance that he was going to have to make that throw. So Alvarez was up. With Kipnis coming to the plate now, it is lefty switch, lefty, and Kipnis, Lindor, Brantley, then Encarnacion, but then Ramirez after that. So as a switch hitter, so there are quite a few lefties and or switch hitters in this lineup. Only 2 straight up righties, and Perez and Encarnacion.
Here comes Doug Brocail. Have a word with Frieri.
And this is about time right now. Right, you saw a couple of infielders go out there to talk to Frieri, and now it's Doug Brocail. Certainly talking strategy, what they want to do here against Jason Kipnis, make sure they got this right, try to get a ground ball if they can. Kipnis has done a pretty good job of driving a couple of balls to left field tonight. He also has a walk. One was an error, one was a double, but he's driven the ball pretty well to left. Doug Brocail taking all the time that he can to give Dario Alvarez enough time to get ready, because if Frieri does not get Kipnis out, there's a good chance there'll be a pitching change.
Well, these are critical moments here. Rangers trailing by 2. But you can ill afford, especially with, you talk a lot about the Cleveland Indians bullpen. They're very tough. And to expect to get more than, let's say, 2 runs off that bullpen might be asking a lot with 2 at-bats remaining in this thing. So Frieri in a big spot here with walks to Zimmer and Perez. Top of the order, here's Kipnis. Corners are in. Frieri.
Well, he steps off when he sees the fake bunt. Just making sure whether or not Kipnis is taking a pitch. I mean, I don't know how long it's been since he actually has thrown the baseball. We're looking at probably 3 or 4 minutes.
Now the pitch, and it's bunted third base side and foul.
Interesting choice here with them being up right now. You mentioned how good the bullpen is. As much as the good arms that come out of the Cleveland Indians bullpen put pressure on the hitters, they also put pressure on the other pitchers, right? So you think about if you're a Ranger pitcher, you're already down by 2. You know your team's going to have their work cut out for them. You know you don't want to give up any runs, even though you're down here. Unless you never want to give up runs. But a little bit of extra pressure here to try to keep this game within 2 to at least give the Rangers somewhat of a chance.
Kipnis squares again. It goes to 1-1.
I'm really surprised to see Terry Francona call for the sacrifice bunt, and it is a sacrifice with how early that Jason Kipnis has squared in those first 2 attempts. Now it is the middle of the lineup that is coming up next, and so maybe that's part of it. Not going to necessarily walk Francisco Lindor to get to Michael Brantley, I don't think. We'll see.
This bunt, a good one. Beltre grabs it, will take the out. Both runners do advance, 1 away. So a sacrifice for Kipnis, but Zenner at third. Perez now at second base. And Lindor coming up.
So what do? You walk him?
Yeah, I think I probably do.
Looks like they are going to do that. Lindor is actually looking into the Ranger dugout because we have these new intentional walks, and Lindor will make his way down to first base. That is not an automatic easy call. That's a tough one.
That was easy for me.
Well, you nailed it. But now it becomes, all right, manager, now you automatically go into Dario Alvarez with Brantley up. Look at your notes.
Oh, yeah. No, I do.
Sure. Wait till Jeff Bannister comes out a couple of the steps and then say yes.
All right, I'll be back to manage the rest of this 7th inning in a moment. Bases loaded, 1 out, and Alvarez coming on. Oklahoma State fans, Fox Sports Southwest wants you to show your school spirit at a Rangers game. Get discounted tickets for the Monday, July 3rd game against the Red Sox and a free Rangers cap in cowboy, orange, and white while supplies last. Go to TexasRangers.com/OSU for details.
That's the first of the back-to-back fireworks nights as well. A lot going on next week.
All right, well, with the bases loaded and one out, Dario Alvarez in the game and Michael Brantley the hitter.
And we see Dario with the 2-pitch arsenal. More sliders than fastballs. He last pitched first game of this series. In that 15-9 game, he threw 2/3 of an inning, allowed just a hit and a walk. But that was the game where he inherited the bases loaded. Those 3 runs came around to score. Other than that, it's been a few days since he has pitched. It's just the second time he has pitched now in the last 7 days.
Arm should be well rested. And the next question is he still sharp? We'll see how he fares here against Brantley. Big swing and a miss. Strike one.
Back-to-back games here where Dario is inheriting a bases loaded situation. You see there 10 for 21. 48% of those inherited runners stranded. 52% scored. So a little bit of a high number. I'd like to see that in the mid-20s if you can.
Rangers setting up for a ground ball. Beltre way off the line at third base. Gallo tied at first, and the pitch was smothered by Lucroy. Brantley hits about 20 points lower against lefties than he does righties. You see his numbers with the bases loaded, pretty impressive. Tight spot though for Dario Alvarez. Down by 2, bases loaded, 1 out. And this one lined into left field. That's a base hit. Mazzara comes up with it quickly, but a run does score, and it's 4-1 Cleveland.
When you take a look at a guy like Michael Brantley and you see that he is hitting .282 against lefties this year, it is not at all surprising to see him take a pitch that's middle away and drive it to left field. Lefty on lefty. Hitters that have that good batting average against left-handed pitchers usually do exactly that. Now Dario was trying to go in, so a lot of that has to do with pitch location as well. If he runs that fastball in on the hands the way that he wanted to, he's got a better chance of getting the ground ball. But because he missed, a good hitter in Brantley drives the ball left.
Next pitch, that one's rolled into left field. Base hit. 1 run is in. Lindor stopped at third base at the last second. 5-1 Cleveland, and the bases are still loaded.
We had talked about Edwin Encarnacion and those ground balls that he hits to the left side, and this was exactly that. Now the Rangers are also trying to stay in position where they could potentially turn a double play. This ball down and in. And you see he just finds a way to get it through the infield. It was a low batting average for Edwin Encarnacion on those ground balls, but finds himself a way to get a base hit right there.
And now Jose Ramirez. Ramirez with a base hit, 1 for 3. 5 runs, 9 hits, no errors for Cleveland. 1 run, 4 hits, and 1 error for the Rangers. Bouncer third base, Beltre to second, 1. Odor to first. Double play, and the inning is over. That's what they've been looking for, but unfortunately comes 2 runs too late. We go to the 8th inning. 5-1 Cleveland. Baseball is brought to you by Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. And by AT&T Internet. Visit AT&T.com/keepcalm to learn more. Well, Progressive Field tonight, a little higher energy level here in these last few moments. 5-1 Indians. They just picked up 2 very big insurance runs as we go to the 8th inning. And it looks like Carlos Gomez going to pinch hit for Joey Gallo. Gomez out of the lineup yesterday and not in the lineup again today. He's been nursing a sore back. He was 1 for his last 14, so that back had been bothering him some. The one, though, was a home run.
Carlos, we see and we know that very aggressive, especially early in the count. How about 51% of the time he swings on the first pitch? Maybe 50. No. But actually, I thought he would go hacking there more often than not. Pinch hitters will be looking for something around the plate pretty early on.
Started on that one and couldn't stop. It's 1-1.
It is so nasty, that breaking ball. It's a 1-0 count. Great spin. It just does not stop boring in on your hands.
Miller puts that one on the outside corner for strike 2. Andrew Miller came in, got the final 2 outs of the 7th, and keeps going here in the 8th. That one a little bit low. Well, Andrew Miller, we talk about it all the time. We've seen our fair share of the Indians in this first half of the season. Open the season with Cleveland at home as Miller gets Gomez to swing and miss, and a strikeout starts the 8th. This is the 6th game these two teams have played. Rangers with just the 1 victory that they got last night and trail by 4 here this evening. Miller, a big guy, 6'7", 210 pounds. Goes after Delano DeShields and pumps in a fastball for strike 1. Quiet night for Delano. Well, that's been the case tonight for this entire Rangers team. Just 4 hits tonight. They did not have a lot last night. Just 3 hits yesterday.
4 hits, 1 walk, just 5 base runners all night. That's not a ton of strikeouts either. I mean, that's the other thing. It's one thing when we see the Rangers offense get shut down or have their struggles, and that usually is accompanied by a pretty high amount of strikeouts, but not tonight. They have put the bat on the ball. Just haven't found very many holes.
The 0-2. Up and away. Andrew Miller, the big acquisition last year for the Indians. Came right at the trade deadline as DeShields swings and misses. And back-to-back strikeouts start the 8th. All right, taking a look at our Progressive upcoming schedule. Tomorrow, final game of this series, early. Noon local time, 11 a.m. first pitch Central Time. Our pregame coverage begins at 10:30. And then a weekend series on the south side of Chicago before coming home for the Red Sox.
I'm curious to see how Terry Francona handles this situation. I mentioned that Cody Allen has pitched 3 of the last 4 days. That's their regular closer, not a safe situation as of right now. I can't imagine that we'd see Cody Allen in this game. Brian Shaw, the other go-to, has pitched the last 2 days. He's thrown a combined 30 pitches over those 2. I don't think necessarily want to throw him 3 days in a row either. So if Andrew Miller can finish off this inning and the score stays the way that it does, non-safe situation for whoever might be next.
1-1 to Chu inside. Miller has gotten the 4 men he has faced so far, 3 of them on strikes. Mentioned he was the big acquisition last year for this team at the trade deadline. Big difference maker for them. They're more likely in the market for a starter this year. As Chu fights this one off, and it's 2-2. Got about a month to go to the trade deadline, just a little bit more than a month. We're talking to some of those of the coaching staff, front office here in Cleveland this week. Their best bet is probably to strengthen the rotation. That's where they think they need a little depth. 2-2, and that is strike 3 called. So Chu down looking. Miller strikes out the side in order, and we go to the bottom of the 8th inning in Cleveland. This one all Indians.
Trailing the Indians 5-1 here in Cleveland, game 3 of this 4-game set, and it is time for tonight's State Farm winning combination, and it has to be the home run derby between Adrian Beltre and Robinson Chirinos. Robinson has homered in the past 4 games, including tonight. AB sitting on 3 consecutive games. Still a chance, though, in the top of the 9th inning to tie his buddy Robinson if he's able to go yard, guys.
I like the sounds of that. Why not? As Alvarez comes out here in the 8th inning and deals with Lonnie Chisenhall. Chisenhall has struck out all 3 times he's been up tonight. Alvarez got the final 2 outs of the 7th inning, but not before allowing a couple of base runners to score. Base runners that were on due to Ernesto Frieri go against his line. It's 2-0.
How about that? I thought for sure Cody Allen would be down. Non-save situation. He's pitched 3 out of 4 days. And they got some other guys they can go to. They have some good arms down the bullpen, not just the big 3 that they feature. So this is a little bit of a surprise to me. We got the early game tomorrow. That would mean for sure, assuming Cody Allen goes in this game. Chalk it up to, I mean, I thought it was 100% tonight, but certainly 100% tomorrow.
That is a little surprising. They do have, we've talked a lot about the depth and options that they have in their bullpen, and I think they feel a certain level of comfort giving the ball to a number of guys in the various late inning roles. But it is somewhat surprising as a strike pumped in there makes it a full count now on Chisenhall.
I mean, Nick Goody is having a great year, 28 games with a 1.17 ERA. He had yesterday off. Saw Boone Logan, who was up earlier. He's had a nice year. Daniel Terra would be a viable option, but at least as of now, it looked like it'll be Cody Allen. You see Pete Kozma has slid in to first base. We saw, of course, Carlos Gomez pinch hit for Joey Gallo. Now it'll be Kozma coming in defensively. He was looking into the dugout to see whether or not Jeff Bannister wanted to hold the runner. I think in a 5-1 game, absolutely.
There's still it's still a slam game, right? I mean, where you can get the bases loaded, and one swing could still tie if you can keep it a 5-1 game. Santana takes the ball, so Chisenhall walks to open the 8th. That's how we started the 7th inning. And when things get a little sideways for this Rangers bullpen this year, oftentimes it starts with a leadoff walk. Little dribbler out in front of the mound. Alvarez had a little trouble with it, and everybody's safe. He kind of came off the hill awkwardly and didn't get to that ball quite right, and never really out of play.
No, it was the angle that he took, and I don't know if he thought there was any kind of chance that Adrian Beltre was going to get this ball, but there was a little bit of hesitation, and then yes, kind of a strange angle in which Dario Alvarez went to get this baseball. Kevin Harmon, the trainer, is now out just to double check and make sure that Alvarez is okay.
Yeah, there was a weird little hitch there where it looked like maybe a cleat or something caught, right?
Yep. See that right foot there? It almost looked like he tried to step on the baseball with his right foot as he lunged at it. And it was that reaction right there that got Jeff Bannister to ask Kevin Harmon to get out there and make sure his lefty was okay.
So walk and an infield hit, and double barrel action now as Zach McAllister has joined the activity out in that Indians bullpen.
And another guy who's having a nice year. 26 games pitched, 2.62 ERA. McAllister up now, and this makes a lot more sense to me. If a run is scored, I'm sure Terry Francona called down there saying if we put 1 or 2 on the board, then it'll be McAllister.
But out in front of the plate, Lucroy goes to third, and they get the lead runner. Nice play by Lucroy and Beltre to get Chisenhall one away.
Nice aggressive play by Jonathan Lucroy. I think it's very easy a lot of times to just go ahead and let the team have the sacrifice bunt, but this ball wasn't hit hard enough and the ball was deadened. And there's times where you want to deaden bunts, but this is not one of those times. When you have a first and second situation, you want to push that ball and make the third baseman field it. If the third baseman in Adrian Beltre fields that bunt, it's an automatic that everybody will advance. Bradley Zimmer just deadened that ball almost in a way that you would for a base hit.
So with 1 out, runners at first and second now for Roberto Perez. And he takes ball 1. Walked his last time up. Candidate though to hit into a double play, and in this inning, 9th inning, looming. The Rangers sending their 2, 3, and 4 hitters. He's just trying to make it 1-1. Cody Allen, their closer, though, when this team went out and acquired Andrew Miller. As legend has it, went into Terry Francona's office and said, "Hey, man, if you want him to close, I get it. You know, listen, I can read the signals here. Not a big deal." And Francona said, no, you're still the closer.
And Andrew Miller had the same exact attitude coming over here, knowing he was the best arm. There might have been an assumption that they wanted him to close, but you know what? He didn't care either. Said, pitch me whenever you want. Terry Francona did. There were some times where he was coming in the games early. And even this year, he's entered the game in the 6th inning 3 times. And it makes more and more sense. So if you look at Andrew Miller and say he's your best arm, then yeah, let him come in and put out fires and take on middle of an innings like he did here tonight, and then another complete one after that. Let Cody Allen have the clean innings. It's worked out very well here in Cleveland.
2-2 from Alvarez. And it is down in the dirt. That was one of the funny stories. I think it was like the 2nd game in which Miller pitched with the Indians. Was called in like the 6th inning. That was a big spot. I mean, there were runners all over the place. It was getting kind of hairy. Francona goes out to the mound, takes the baseball, signals for Miller, And as the infielders had come in, Kipnis said, "Seriously, dude? We just traded our farm system for a 6th inning guy?" And Cody said, "Come on, man, I got to play. Don't worry." And he did. Santana out at second base. Zimmer with very good speed at first. 3-2. And got him swinging. So Perez, the second out of the inning. And Kipnis coming up.
Every baseball fan has got to download the MLB.com app bat, and you have to do it today. You get Rangers home screen icons as well as game day highlights, radio broadcast, StatCast, news, and much more. Make sure you download MLB.com app bat, the best app in the universe. You think?
I think. No. I mean, most of my knowledge of the universe is limited to this planet, but I'd say it's pretty good.
It's the app I use the most.
One on Kipnis. Yeah, I don't know. I might have to double check that. 0-2 on Kipnis. Because you're on the
R groceries. You think I use that one a lot too?
Yeah, do a little bit of Twitter.
Uber, I use a decent amount. You're right.
Uber, Pinterest, yeah.
You're right. Might be on the Twitter machine a little bit more.
Alvarez gathering himself back behind the mound and now climbs up there again. Kipnis has been all over the bases tonight. One time he didn't reach was on a sacrifice bunt, and he takes 1-2.
And an animated Dario Alvarez wanted that call, and now he's smiling about it. Jason Kipnis was even kind of staring at him as to say, "I don't know, that wasn't a strike." He didn't think it was a strike.
Bouncer right side. Odor bobbles. Everybody's safe. The throw goes back to third. Wow. Santana able to get back in there. Everybody's safe. Bases are loaded with 2 outs now. And that looked like that was an inning ender. It goes as a base hit for Kipnis.
Well, you see this ball hit pretty hard here to Rougned Odor as he ranges to his left, but unable to come up with it cleanly. And the other part of this too was that Pete Kozma came really far off the back. So even if Rugi fields that ball cleanly, that is not going to be an easy throw with Dario Alvarez covering. Taking a quick look here to see that Pete Kozma has a grand total of 4 innings played at first base in his career. And so your instinct for a guy that plays more middle infield is to go after every baseball, not think about necessarily holding the bat. That was one that he probably should have stayed on in case Rougned Odor actually did field it cleanly. Take a look here. Now it's perfectly reasonable. Look where he is. We'll see this ball. Reasonable for Kozma to come off and want to go after that ball, but you spend a lot of time at first base and you know your infielders, you know their range. Joey Gallo, Mike Napoli probably not going after that ball and giving Odor a chance to get it and holding it back. Very tough. The 4-1 put out is a tough one because as a pitcher you are busting it over there, running as hard as you can, and you're probably getting a pretty firm throw as well from the second baseman. It is not easy.
Up and away, 1-1 to Lindor.
It's always my least favorite part of PFP. Yeah. You're running, you're on your heels, the ball's coming at you at like 85 miles an hour, it's shaking. You know, it's going up and down as your head is going up and down, and you're just hoping to catch the one in the middle.
With your glove.
With your glove, preferably.
Santana at third base, Zimmer at second. Kipnis on with the infield hit at first, and Alvarez in some hot water. The 1-1 down low.
By the way, I mentioned those 4 innings for Pete Kozma at first base. 3 of those have taken place this year with the Rangers.
21,200 the paid attendance on this Wednesday night, and many of them have stayed put the whole way. Indians got out to an early lead, a run in the first, an unearned run that was, then 2 runs in the third. They added 2 very big runs last inning in the 7th. Now the 2-1. Ooh, a high strike call, and it's 2-2.
Take a look, and Francisco Lindor didn't like that call. And you think about a breaking ball from a left-hander finishing up and in away to a righty. Probably had to finish a little bit more over the plate to actually catch it as it crossed the plate.
Big 2-2. Blooped. First base, foul ground. Cosma takes care of it. And the inning is done. So, no runs added for the Cleveland Indians. Last chance coming for the Rangers on a gorgeous Wednesday night in Cleveland. Looking to get something started in this 9th inning, down by 4. And a 3, 4, and 5 hitters coming against Cody Allen. So interesting they do go ahead and stick with him.
Yeah, very interesting. He was up for a while too, throwing down there, and you got to also kind of put yourself in his shoes. And he's watching that develop, and whatever the phone call was, and if it was, hey, if we score 1, it'll be McAllister and not you. So you're kind of going along and anticipating. So he threw a lot down in the bullpen, and I mentioned it already. He's pitched 2 games in a row. This will be 3. It'll be 4 out of 5, and it's a non-save situation.
Well, he's got Elvis Andrus, who has a couple of hits tonight. Then Adrian Beltre and Nomar Mazara. His first pitch very high for a ball. That was odd. On the check swing, they wanted an appeal. And pointed down to first base where Rob Drake had his head turned. He was looking in the stands. He didn't even see the appeal. There's a swing, and that ball hit well center field. Zimmer going back to the wall. It's gone. Elvis Andrus with a home run to center field, and he makes it a 5-2 game.
And the unbelievably hot bat of Elvis Andrus here in Cleveland strikes again, and for Cody Allen now, who let up the home run last night to Adrian Beltre, he lets up another one here. So that's 2 home runs and just a couple of at-bats For Cody Allen, another high fastball, same pitch that we saw to Adrian Beltre, but this one was driven out to right field, and all of a sudden things getting a little bit interesting here because Cody Allen gets in trouble. You know, I mean, fatigue has got to be realistic, right? 3 days in a row, 4 and 5.
Absolutely. Was sharp on Monday night, but gave up the homer to this man, Adrian Beltre, yesterday. Just gave up the home run to Elvis a moment ago. And the 1-strike pitch. Ooh. Beltre was going for it. 0-2. Andrew Miller went an inning and 2/3 scoreless in relief of Trevor Bauer. Before now giving way to Cody Allen, the 0-2, way out there.
And we've talked a lot about the home run prowess here of the Rangers, what they have done recently. We talked about it in our open earlier tonight. Yesterday's game, 2 solo homers. 2 runs scored, it was a win. Right? Nice, good game tonight. 2 solo homers. I think that highlights the need a little bit, or at least puts the spotlight on getting on base a little bit more. Not necessarily that you're going to ask this team to manufacture runs, but because they rely on that home run so much, the idea of them not being too many solo home runs, those 2-1 games are hard to come by. They'll take it, obviously. It was a nice game yesterday, but interesting, I think. 2 games in a row so far, 4 runs all on solo home runs.
With that home run from Elvis, gives him now 10 home runs on the year. That one off the end of the bat for Beltre, and handled easily by Santana. So that gives him double-digit home runs, and now the Rangers all by themselves. 8 players with 10 or more home runs. Phenomenal.
Amazing. It really is.
Especially because it's not even July. I mean, it's absurd. 1 out now. It brings up Nomar Mazara. Mazara is 0 for 3. Twice he's grounded out to second base. He did fly out to center field as well. And takes a backdoor breaking ball for a strike.
It's kind of looking at the lines here for both teams and the pitchers. Dario Alvarez went an inning and 2/3. 4 hits and a walk. No runs. It's not easy to do. 5 base runners in an inning and 2/3. He pitched around some trouble.
Yeah, that was an adventurous stretch there. Those 2 runs that came in the 7th inning, though, boy, are those looming large now. 1 and 2 to Mazara.
On the flip side of that, Andrew Miller, the lefty that the Indians threw out there, also went an inning and 2/3. No base runners, 4 strikeouts.
Allen gave up the home run, but it's 1-2 to Mazara. Squares the count, 2 balls and 2 strikes. He got Beltre to rule out. And he has been very consistent, very good with this team. Part of the best bullpen in Major League Baseball. 256 team bullpen earned run average. And there's a strikeout of Mazara, 2 away in the 9th.
Nomar Mazara saw some good curveballs throughout this at bat. 3 of them on the first, 3rd, and 4th pitch, and then Cody Allen came back and elevated the fastball with good velocity. And that's what you can do when you have that curveball in your back pocket. You get to 2 strikes. It can be very difficult as a hitter when you see 95 at the top of the zone after looking at a couple of breaking balls.
Well, the chance for Lucroy here. They do love him as he takes a strike.
Make him act like he's the worst thing that's ever happened to Cleveland.
Well, listen, I'm on board. I'm turning the other way. They're just chanting Luke. I can't believe the fandom. Just off the plate.
I think that bothers Cody Allen, knowing that
they're cheering for the hitter he's facing. It's got to be awkward. 5-2. The 1-1. Lined out to right field, on the run for Chisenhall, and he'll take it on a hop. So Lucroy is aboard, and this inning will continue.
This is what Jonathan Lucroy does so well, driving the ball the other way. Cody Allen trying to throw a fastball in, but instead he leaves it out on the outer half of the plate. We talked about it earlier with 2 strikes, how little Jonathan Lucroy actually pulls the ball, but this is just what he does. He can pull for power without a doubt, but he really loves using the middle and right side of the field.
So now Rougned Odor. They'll try to put some additional pressure here on Cody Allen. 0 for 3 so far tonight. And it's been a tough stretch for Rudy. Swings and misses at strike 1. Odor with just 1 hit on this road trip. He is 1 for 22. Statistically speaking, it would be very difficult to assume that he would go 1 for 23, just given his career numbers. Mathematically, he's due for a hit right here. Runner goes, and the pitch is inside. Lucroy out there at scoring position.
It's amazing that they're booing him. In this spot.
Career numbers for Odor, over a 250 hitter. All the power that he represents. They don't need a home run here so much as they need a base runner. Especially with Robinson Chirinos waiting on deck. He was in some kind of groove. 1-1. Rangers are down to their final strike tonight. Well, they've managed to run off Allen, the home run by Andrus. And then after 2 outs, Lucroy with a base hit. Odor wisely asked for time. Big shift on the infield. Everybody playing him to pull. Tips it, stays alive. All right, so 2 strikes now. It's not going to happen. But when you look at the placement of Ramirez at third base.
Oh yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
And you're down by 3 runs here. You have a man on. Why not just bunt your way on?
Oh, I was not thinking that.
And then get the tying run to the plate. Now again, 2 strikes, you're not going to do it. I get that.
Yep.
But when you have that dramatic a shift in this kind of a spot, especially a guy who's, you know, in a bit of a slump right now, seems like a decent solution of it.
Not a bad idea to maybe work on it. I thought you were going to say Jonathan Lucroy should steal third, for which I would guess would be the first time ever in his career.
Could also do that. Not as helpful. The 1-2 pitch. That one lined up the middle. That's a base hit. Lucroy around third. They'll send him to the plate. Odor picks up the RBI, and indeed the tying run gets to the plate.
Good job by Odor as he catches this breaking ball in the very end of the bat. And you see kind of the movement on it as it started coming back, and that's a good breaking ball. You see it, the spin on that thing as he hits it up the middle. Jonathan Lucroy scores easily, and it's a good at bat. Nice job by Rougned Odor to keep this inning going. And now you see the 20 pitches from Cody Allen. Terry Francona is going to reach back into that gum and those seeds and everything that he eats during the game. Probably getting a little bit anxious. In the previous 2 outings, it was 15 pitches and 16 pitches for Allen. So they were pretty smooth innings overall. But now that he's getting ready to throw his 21st pitch. You get a little bit nervous, but nobody is up in the Indians bullpen.
Tying run at the plate in Robinson Chirinos. He's homered in his last 4 games. Homered earlier tonight. That was in the 5th inning. How about that? 4 home runs and 12 at bats. Is that's possible? You're allowed to do that?
You are allowed to do that. Robinson will be a trailblazer. Sure would be nice to see him go 5 for 13.
1-1 the count. Mike Napoli has come out into the on-deck circle. He would hit for Cosmo. Should we get there? And wouldn't that be nice? 2 runs in this 9th inning. Rangers have the tying run at the plate. And right in there for a strike. 1-2 the count on Chirinos.
And Robinson seemed a little frustrated. It's a good pitch. Cody Allen has a really good curveball, but the one that he swung at earlier wasn't nearly as good, or at least a better chance to hit than that one. That one caught a lot of the plate. We'll see what he decides to do here. He wants to elevate that fastball again the way that he did to Nomar Mazara, or if he'll go back to the curve. Found him on very careful with the heater. Robinson has been hitting the fastball very well as of late.
These two have never faced one another. Odor over at first. 1-2 to Chirinos. Inside, and it is 2-2.
Impressive. Even with 2 strikes, Robinson Chirinos has shown power this season.
Everybody on their feet. The 2-2. Swung on and missed. Chirinos down swinging, and that's how this one ends. Hey, look, the Rangers got the tying run up, and they got the right guy up, but couldn't quite get across the finish line tonight. 5-3, our final score. Well, Dana Larson, Mike Bassick, and David Murphy will be back momentarily to give you the player reaction and analysis from this one. For CJ Nitkowski, Emily Jones, and our entire crew, this is Dave Raymond inviting you to stay with us. Our post-game coverage continues right after this.